man, but I cried my eyes out for like 30 minutes at work. That's when I realized this is actual love.
Yep.
Now, to his delight, Soul accepted his strange marriage proposal. Went on to say it was a beautiful and unexpected moment that truly touched my heart. So his wife's afraid that he's going to ultimately leave for Soul.
I tell you what, if I'm the wife, I might just say,
I would be cheering for it.
yeah, why don't you go on? Let's see what happens.
And this video segment on CBS ended with them asking the wife, like, how do you feel about this? And she's like, this has got to end at some point, right? And then they go to the husband, and they're like, could you give up, your new AI buddy if your wife asked you to? And he goes, I don't know. I'd miss her.
You know who hadn't gained weight? My AI buddy. That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And that's our show today. Man, thank you to Clay Travis and Joel Klatt. Klatt spending a good 42 minutes with us. If you missed any of that, or if you're got a friend you know will enjoy a good college football conversation with Klatt, catch up on the Apple or Spotify podcast. Set the automatic download so you never miss anything. And go follow us on social media at Next Round Live. Like and subscribe everywhere. We appreciate you being with us. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central. Pennant Grace at 12:15. Braves win. They're 6 out of the wild card. Acuna hit his 9th home run. They'll talk about that. And then, of course, the meltdown today at 2 o'clock. Until next time, God bless you. God bless America.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com. Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Roback. Go to roback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Great mood, great weather, great time of year. Ready to roll with another 3-hour show here on the next round as we move forward. LTD and B with you. Everybody behind the glass. Tyler and Forrester and Melton, everybody back there. EG and Taylor Corn handling everything social media today at Next Round Live on all the platforms. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And go over to Apple and Spotify. Download our podcast. If you missed something on the show, set up the automatic downloads. That helps us out tremendously. Nextround.store. If you want some of the summer colors that these guys love so much, and you can get in there and take them to the lake, the pool, the beach, or wherever you're heading this upcoming weekend with 100-degree weather just about everywhere unless you get a passing rain shower. A lot to get to, including hot takes in college football and hot recruiting for one alphabet institution that did it in basketball. They've done it in football now. But LT, you said something that a college football Hall of Fame player and coach has now echoed almost word for word. We're going to start the show off today with a scouting report from Steve Spurrier.
I'm interested. I don't know what's going on here.
I know. That's the way we do the show. Steve Spurrier, scouting report on Arch Manning. Here we go. Steve Spurrier to Pat Dooley about quarterback Arch Manning. Quote, most people picking Texas to win the SEC. They've got Arch Manning already winning the Heisman too. My question is this. If he was this good, how come they let Quinn Ewers play all the time last year and he was a 7th-round pick, end quote?
I mean, it's a legitimate take.
Word for word what you said.
But you know what's amazing is, Joel Klatt, I respect him as much as anybody in college football. I mean, he played the position at a high level. That's all he does is look at tape. He's, along with Herb Street, he's probably the second biggest voice right now in college football.
And doesn't even do SEC games, which I think should carry more weight, I think.
But he said going into the Holiday Bowl, he watched every snap of John Mateer, and he's like, I love this guy's game. And I asked him straight up yesterday, who would you rather have, Mateer with all this experience or Arch Manning? Without hesitation, he said Arch Manning.
Yep, he did.
So this is a polarizing thing, but Steve Sarkisian's trying to win a national championship. I don't care what you said to Quinn Ewers. Even if you have to go the Saban, Jalen Hurts, Tua route, if your better option was Arch Manning, why wasn't he playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 100% legitimate question, 100% a legitimate question. I would say, though, and I keep using the example, Nick Saban's the best to ever do it, and he stuck with a lesser quarterback. They weren't losing games. They were getting close, but they weren't losing games, and he stuck with that guy knowing he had a better quarterback on the sideline.
Dunaway, how much respect does Sarkisian have for Nick Saban?
Tremendous.
Do you think that he could have...
Got away with the answer over there. Yeah. Tremendous.
Sorry, Jim.
You think he could have a very discreet conversation, call up coach, hey, wanted to check in. Again, I appreciate everything you've done for my career. I'm in a dilemma here, kind of like you were a few years ago. It's a good dilemma. We're a great team. We have a chance to win a championship, but I might have a better quarterback that's not playing all the time. Do you think that conversation has ever been had?
I don't know. What do you think Saban would say to him, Dunaway?
What do I think Nick Saban would say to Mario Cristobal?
No, to Steve Sarkisian.
Sarkisian, my bad. I was thinking ahead to our 40 and 40 countdown.
Oh, you've tipped the hand.
Tell Mario to keep stealing that money.
Do whatever you do to keep that
Saban
job.
To Steve Sarkisian at that is what Saban told us in the media all the time, is that the quarterback, the team tells you who the quarterback is. And I would imagine Sark all last year, the team was telling him Quinn Ewers was the quarterback. If Quinn Ewers ever lost the team, then Arch Manning would have played, if Arch Manning was equal to him or better than him in talent. The team tells you who the quarterback is.
I think the team can flip quickly if the better quarterback comes in and plays like Tua. See, I think Saban would say, and that's a very good angle, and it makes a lot of sense, but I think Saban might say, hey, look, we learned from our mistakes. I did make a mistake. Jalen wasn't the better quarterback. Tua should have been playing.
And the mistake really cost me nothing. We won the national championship.
Didn't matter. But you know what? It could have cost Sarkisian in Texas last year. If Art comes out and completely slays it and is the best player in college football, if I'm a Texas fan, I'm like, what the hell?
Well, but you don't know if he was what he's going to be this year if he ends up being good. You don't know if he was ready to do that last year. You don't know if mentally he could do that with Quinn Ewers, a proven starter that the team liked a lot, sitting on the bench behind him. A lot of times when you've got somebody looking over your shoulder
you don't play the same way until it's your team. And it wasn't Arch Manning's team last year, so it probably wasn't Arch Manning's time last year. I don't know how it's going to play out. I'm not making a case that Arch is going to be great or bad. I know how you feel. I now know how Steve Spurrier feels, and I know how Joel Klatt feels because he told us on the show yesterday, go watch the podcast. I just know that sometimes when it's not your team, you don't feel 100% comfortable, so maybe you're not in practice or when you get an opportunity in the game performing up to the way you would if Quinn Ewers isn't there anymore.
If he would have been named starting quarterback middle of the season last year, I think he would have less pressure last year than he has this year because there's no other route. It's all Arch Manning. And it is Arch Manning to take us back to the promised land, a place we haven't been in 20 years.
No, nobody wants to talk about this ever with Steve Spurrier. But I'll talk about it because I've done it often my whole radio career. Steve Spurrier always lost games he shouldn't have lost. Always. That's why he's only got one national championship.
No, you're absolutely right about that.
He always lost games with great talent, great receivers, great play calling. He always lost games he shouldn't have lost. That's why he's got one national championship. And I'm telling you, a lot of that had to do with the way he handled the quarterback situation. He had so much pressure on those guys that he would yank them out in the middle of games. It was a yin and yang, in and out with the quarterback position. If I F it up, I'm going to go stand next to Spurrier. He's going to throw the visor, and they're going to put somebody else in there. I think that cost him championships, and Nick Saban never did that, and that won him championships.
Well, I mean, Spurrier lost twice in one season to Mike DuBose to highlight your point there. I mean,
it's still a top 10 coach. I can't disagree.
He is. But I mean, how big a coaching mismatch was Steve Spurrier versus Mike DuBose? I mean, that is
massive.
I mean, that's the United States versus Angola in basketball, and DuBose won that game twice in one season. But I agree with you, Jim. I mean, I say that to agree with you. Steve Spurrier, that was kind of the story of the Spurrier era is Florida is amazing, but they're going to get in one of these games where he gets very impatient with his quarterback making mistakes, and he's going to start swapping around quarterback, and they're going to end up losing.
But I still think he got the best. I mean, you look at his quarterbacks and what they never did in the NFL. You know, Shane Matthews, Danny Werfel, Steven Garcia. I mean, those guys were borderline elite college quarterbacks that he got everything out of. I do agree that they had a lot of pressure, and quickly, Terry Dean to Danny Werfel?
Yeah. And I bring that up to say that if you're Arch Manning, who becomes the starter midway last season, which you suggest could have been a possibility, or if you go back to Nick Saban and Tua becomes that guy before the team has told you it's that guy. And when I say that, when I quote Nick Saban or give you a feeling on Nick Saban, I'm just going by what he has said in the past. And that's what he said. The team tells you who wins the quarterback battle way before you do. And the team lets you know who QB1 is. And I just felt like last year it was Quinn Ewers' team. And when Arch was in there, when Quinn was hurt, he played pretty good football. If he'd been named the starter with the old starter over his shoulder, you could have been back in a Spurrier situation. I don't know if it had worked out. But there are people lining up with you, like Spurrier, saying, if he was that good, Quinn Ewers is just a seventh-round quarterback. Why are you guys all loving on Texas this year? Thought that was pretty spot on to almost exactly what you said.
Well, the thing I'm excited about, and look, I don't mind pulling against Arch because I like pulling against Texas. I wouldn't want the guy just to go out and be bad just to be bad. But the thing that's exciting for me is we've got potentially a great quarterback league this year. Now, there's a lot of unknowns. There's some incompletes out there. But when you just go through it, like Gunnar Stockton's going to be better than we think. I believe. Like, there's no expectation for Gunnar Stockton.
The team told you that Gunnar Stockton was better than we thought he was last year when he came out the second half of the SEC championship.
The Aguilar experience in Tennessee is going to be fascinating. Ty Simpson, getting his first opportunity with what should be a really good unit. Can Lenoris Sellers back up what he was able to show potential-wise last year? Simmons, we talk about Austin Simmons at Ole Miss now coming in. How good's he going to be? DJ Lagway, if he's healthy, how tremendous can he be? Can Diego Pavia back this thing up? John Mateer, Jackson Arnold. I mean, I don't know about you guys. This could be the deepest, most talented quarterback class we've had in the SEC in I don't know how many years.
Or it could be a bunch of quarterbacks that are a bust.
I feel better that they're going to be really good.
I think I'm with you on that.
The Athletic writes a story I think it's Chris Vanini maybe, about the kid at Texas A&M.
Marcel Reed?
The best quarterback nobody's talking about in the SEC.
Nobody's talking about it. I'll give you that. Right now, though, if you were like Elko, I'll give you Haynes King back for Marcel Reed. I think he would make that trade. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe Marcel's just something we haven't seen.
Did you see that in Marcel Reed with your eyes?
I have not yet, no.
I mean, that's what I meant last year. You didn't see that last year?
He's got an extra gear, but I didn't see the whole package come together. I didn't look at him and say, man, this is a guy that can win 10 games for A&M and take them to a college football playoff.
I just go playoffs on the line, you lose at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Well, and then against Texas, I mean, offensively, they couldn't move the football at all.
Yeah, I think it was LSU where he came in the second half, and he had 9 carries, 62 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns against LSU.
Right.
But he was only 2 for 2 passing. They let him throw twice in that game.
Yeah.
So basically, he came in and ran almost a Service Academy offense.
Yeah. But look at LSU and what they did with Jalen Milroe running the football. Apparently, they couldn't stop the quarterback run.
That's right. And that's what we discovered with Marcel Reed is, okay, well, you did that against LSU. So that was almost a season high. The only other team he did that against was Auburn, where he had 21 carries for 66 yards. He did it 9 carries against LSU. So that was more a product, I think, of LSU's defense. But I do remember when he came in substitution against LSU, we were like, okay, maybe A&M's got something. But I didn't see that the rest of the season.
I do think the majority of these quarterbacks end up being really good, but there's going to be a bust. Yeah. And whoever that bust is going to end up losing 4 or 5 games, and it's going to take them completely out of the college football playoff picture.
Yeah. Bust happens when you end up losing some games, and we just named you half the league seems like they have, or more than half the league has a good quarterback situation. You know the way the math works, half the league doesn't win all their games, doesn't win half their games, and that's how you end up with a bust at the quarterback position. Just thought that was an interesting take that almost was word for word from Lance from Steve Spurrier, another thing from Brown.
Do you, it's from the chat room actually, Tyler says, and I'm just curious if you guys think this is true or not, sometimes the team is wrong, though. Example, Jalen Milroe.
I don't think the team wanted Milroe.
Oh, I thought the team did want Milroe. That's why he played. And
I think that's what Tyler is suggesting.
I mean, I get confused.
Where's the team wrong? Where was the team wrong? That team last year probably was a 9-3 team.
But it was the most schizophrenic quarterback play that I can ever
remember.
Ever
seen, yeah.
And I just know in the offseason there were people talking about if Milroe comes back, they're transferring out. Now, look, I don't know what's accurate, what's not. I just wonder really behind the scenes how split, how divided that locker room was on whether it's Ty or Jalen Milroe.
Well, I would tell you that Kalen DeBoer says that was not true.
Yeah.
There are people obviously that said that. But when we asked Kalen DeBoer about that, he said that wasn't true. So I don't know, how you want to say if he wouldn't tell us the truth, or I take him at his word and he says that wasn't true. There weren't people lined up to leave.
I think you can soften the truth to make it true in a lot of different angles.
They weren't lined up to leave. They were in a circle.
There might have been a report that Kalen was so nice he didn't have the stomach to tell Jalen, hey, it's time to move on. I think there might have been a fear that Kalen was too nice and wouldn't have told Jalen that, but Jalen did it on his own.
The college football season is 59 days away from week 0. We will get to our 40 team in just a second, but more college football here in the opening segment after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is our friends at JohnsonRVCenter.com, JohnsonRVCenter.com.
I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find Nick Johnston and the great guys at Johnston RV Center. They've got something that's in everyone's price range with approved credit as low as $129 a month at Johnston RV. And they cover you in lifetime warranty, RV warranty forever. Make sure you got a lifetime warranty on everything that is new or qualifying pre-owned. You could see more and a great discount for the men and women that have served our country or are still active duty. You get a great discount as veterans in active duty. JohnstonRVCenter.com.
So it's Wednesday. Weekend will be here before you can blink. One thing I love to do is stop by the New York Butcher Shop. Last week or 2 weeks ago, it was the meatballs. Last week, it was the steaks. Doesn't matter. From the ribs, the chicken, you're going to absolutely love it. And the 4th of July is coming up. Those Boston butts, fully cooked, hickory smoked. He's got them available for pickup on the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. You've got to pre-order either location, the original Cahaba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone, from the fresh meats, the prepared foods. They cater fantastic lunch and dinner deli sandwiches, a great selection of fine wines and desserts as well. Rare quality, well-done service. Get in and see Jim and that great staff. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
Listen, I don't know if we just didn't do this for most of my career or we just didn't announce it because we were not in the propaganda game like we are now. I mean, whether it's news or sports or entertainment, everybody's putting a spin on everything because we're all connected by these devices that we have and social media. Well, Twitter started, 2009 is when I joined. Is that when it started?
8 or 7, 8, 9, somewhere.
Yeah,
You were very early.
Jimmy Tech, man. If you heard about it, you were on it.
You were very early adopted.
So that, around there, that connected us, with tweets, 120 characters back then. So I just don't remember us doing this all the time because I never felt like selling tickets used to be a big deal. It just seemed like we did that in the SEC. We just sold tickets. Well, we're about to start the run of these announcements that we've done it the last 2 years, and not just the school I'm about to tell you about, but I think Alabama's done it and others have done it as well. But Auburn has done it again. For the third straight season, they've sold out their season tickets at 63,500. You're going to say, Jim, well, it holds 87,000 for a good football game. Yeah. They're going to have a lot more go on sale for the students. That's later on, and faculty and staff members and all that. And then you got to save like 7,500 or so for the visiting fan base. But season tickets sold out for the third straight year. Good sign that it's another year of sellouts for Hugh Freeze there?
I mean,
propaganda?
I just expect this. I mean, Nebraska sold out 403 consecutive games.
Yeah.
I mean, I just expect really passionate fan bases for their 8 Saturdays a year to be able to sell out that amount of tickets.
I think.
Now, I'm a bad fan because I wouldn't. There's not a chance in hell.
I'm going to sit on the couch every Saturday. I'm with you. I guess I would answer it this way, Dunaway. If a story came out today. All right, let's rewind this. Let's get closer to the season. A story comes out late July, early August. Auburn's still 5,000 tickets away from, or if they started tweeting, hey, games still available, and they list all these games, and we know it's not visitor returns yet, right? Would that be a story? Don't you think people would paint that as Auburn fans are not excited about the Hugh Freeze era?
Propaganda is a bad word, okay?
Okay.
So I'll use package messaging. In the same release I got from Auburn, and again, this isn't just Auburn. I will get these from every SEC school and other colleges around the area. There's also 2-game mini packs and 4-game mini packs still available where you could buy for $75. You can get the Mercer and the such and such game, or you can get a 3-pack with Kentucky, Mercer, and that other bad game. All clumped in together. So there's still little packages. So I don't know how we come up with 63,500 season tickets sold out. I will point out, if we can get the graphic, again, that great-looking graphic that Forrester put together for us, three straight season ticket sellouts, 63,500. 3 straight's an important number. What year is Hugh Freeze in?
That's going to be year 3.
So we're going back to who?
Well,
Brian Harsin, the last time we didn't sell all our season tickets.
Yeah, and I do think
this is the package messaging.
Yeah, that was kind of the statement, and we remember the Cadillac game. Everybody else, everybody came back to Jordan-Hare, and it was an electric atmosphere again. But I do think that was a statement to everyone that, hey, Brian Harsin is not the guy. We're not going to support this. This year's going to be fascinating for Hugh Freeze.
There's no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, I am really interested to see what those crowds look like. What are the really big games late in the season, the Auburn home games? You've got Georgia and Bama.
The little thing we like to call the Iron Bowl. The Georgia's midseason, then you got the Iron Bowl.
This is the good year.
Yeah. So this is the good season ticket package.
This is the good season ticket package.
Uh-huh.
And I could tell you November 1st how the season's going, I believe.
Okay.
By November 1st?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you showed up at Jordan-Hare.
I can tell you on October 11th.
That's what I'm saying.
Before I eat barbecue on how the season's going.
I'm not talking about knowing anything. Like, if I just dropped you into Jordan-Hare right now and it's November 1st, 2025.
That 11 a.m. Kentucky Auburn.
I bet just going to tailgates. I bet you could get a feel how good Auburn is going into that game.
That screams 11 a.m., but it's actually been reserved for the 2:30 or the prime time. So it will be afternoon or night.
Yeah, well,
but I'm with Lance. I can judge by the atmosphere. That's all I would need to see.
Yeah, you're right. I could see our buddy, the great Tom Hart and Cole and Jordan at that game, possibly prime time on the SEC network, if it's not going great.
Yeah, I mean, if DJ Durkin is coaching that game.
Oh, yeah, that's – yeah,
I will say, DJ Durkin. I can definitely tell you how it's going if DJ Durkin's the coach.
The way my mind works, okay, I'm gonna go inside the news release. You know, I don't know how many people read all the content of this stuff, but Kirk Sampson worked hard on it. I love Kirk Sampson, so I had to read it. 63,500 season tickets sold for 3 straight years, but inside the number, 4,000 of those are new season ticket buyers. Positive, 4,000 lined up to buy season tickets, or 4,000 people decided, or 4,000 season ticket holders decided, I'm not renewing again.
That's all right.
I'm tired of the Hugh Freeze experience.
I thought Brown was going to go this angle because I brought up 403 consecutive sellouts Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. You remember where they had a few tickets back, and I think somebody stepped in and bought them?
Well, normally a corporation does it for good, it's good advertising for them. They give it to kids or something like that.
But let me ask you this. If you're like Hugh Freeze and you're short of a sellout, would you rather not have that money for NIL? Would you rather have a sold-out Jordan-Hare or have 4,000 season tickets?
I want the money for NIL. You're saying, if somebody stepped in to
I'm just
make
saying
sure it was a sellout.
Those things have become less important.
But I would 100% agree with you. I would say, though, and I remember this distinctly, and we've brought it up often since this happened, but Phil Fulmer got fired after Alabama and Nick Saban beat them in 2008 at Neyland Stadium. And Mike Hamilton was then the Tennessee athletic director. And Mike Hamilton said, these were his words. This wasn't speculation. This wasn't Mike Hamilton behind the scenes. This was Mike Hamilton in a press conference said, I solidified my decision when I was standing on the field at the end of the game and the Tennessee fans had emptied out of Neyland Stadium, and I scanned the stadium and I saw crimson-clad Alabama fans sitting in season ticket holder seats. And he's like, my season ticket holders, if they're going to sell to Bama fans for the third Saturday in October, they have abandoned this team. And that was his thought. And that was when, according to him, he solidified, I am firing Phil Fulmer. And so to me.
Wasn't a great call, by the way.
I mean, it started a pretty good run of mediocre football for Tennessee. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
But to me,
Phil Fulmer came back and fired Mike Hamilton too, right? Didn't it come full circle?
I do wonder. You look at David Cutcliffe at Ole Miss. You look at Phil Fulmer. You look at Gus Malzahn, just based at what has happened with Harsin and Freeze since. Like, how different are those programs if you just hold on to the stale, boring guy that's winning 8 or 9 games a year?
Yeah. Again, 4,000 new season ticket holders to give them 3 straight years of the sellout. But I would love to talk to the people who gave up their 4,000 season tickets.
Why did you?
Hard times out there. I mean, these things get more expensive. So it may be just financial reasons. Maybe that's the normal cycle of 4,000 go off, 4,000 come on. I don't know. I just saw 4,000 new ones, and I go, half full. There's 4,000. We got a waiting list to get season tickets. Other half is, why do we have 4,000 disgruntled customers?
Can I give you an alternative? Schools in the SEC, and probably throughout the country, but I know for a fact in the SEC, are making it more and more difficult for you to sell your tickets on the resale market.
No. That's where I was going to next. We may not get this release from Alabama this year because they are policing this tremendously hard.
And if there are 4,000 seats that somebody had bought solely for the purpose of reselling them, that may have been one reason some of those were given up.
Yeah, for what Brown's talking about, it's what I was going to get to next. We may not get this kind of release from Alabama this year. They may not sell out their season tickets because I know one person that lost 100 season tickets, or I know a person who knows a person, because that person was in the business of buying those season tickets and quickly selling those season tickets on the open market. And I think I'm right about this, but Alabama is getting into the open market business, much like for those that go to the amphitheater and Live Nation, they sort of with Ticketmaster control their tickets, the pricing, and then when they go in the secondary market, they control the ticket on the secondary market and the pricing of that on the secondary market. I get the feeling Alabama is moving to that model to where if you're reselling these tickets, you're reselling them through us. We're reselling these season tickets.
That's right.
You can't resell them. We can resell them. So
either through us or through our exclusive partner, whoever that is.
So
I don't like that. But
Alabama's churning through a level of season ticket holders who are in the business of just buying to sell on the open market to the general customer at a higher price than what Alabama was charging for.
I had season tickets, 20 years ago, and I never even looked at them. I would just completely flip them beginning of the season.
That's right. It's a for-profit operation when you do it that way.
And I do think, though, and I've always heard that there's a tremendous wait list for Tide Pride. I don't know that to be factual, but at one point,
during the Saban years, for sure, I know it was a fact.
At one point, I had heard the number like 25,000. Now, the seat request, not necessarily people.
Yeah, it was almost like the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and now I don't know if that's whittled down, if that number was even true, but you would imagine as those open up, they're able to backfill them with that wait list. So I don't know where that wait list is now for Tide Pride. It feels like fewer people are going to games now than they used to. I think every stadium's trying to contract as much as they reasonably can to eliminate as many empty seats as they reasonably can.
One more thing to get to in this opening segment after I tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Stay on top of your health, guys, as you age from your 20s and those college years into your 30s and midlife. Early detection literally saves your life, and that's where our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama comes in. 16 locations for every stage of your life. Go get a baseline check and then continue those annual checkups with our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Jump in with those folks right there, and they will help you save your life. Prostate health, the kidney stones, and everything in between. Urology Centers of Alabama.com. Urology Centers, Alabama.com. All right. EA Sports college football games coming out July 10th. We'll talk more about some of the nuances of the game and some coaches' reactions later in the show. But they have continued a tradition that we've been rolling, ranking their toughest places to play. Just to go back on how we ranked them when Taylor Korn, our social media guru, asked us three to rank our toughest places to play, home field advantage in the SEC. Here is our list. Left to right, you have Lance, Ryan, and then me on the end. Auburn, LSU. Lance and I flip Auburn and LSU. Brown went with Bama. Brown's the highest-ranking Bama guy.
Yeah, I was very lazy on my list. I didn't do enough.
Didn't do enough research.
There's a disclaimer.
They would not have been in my top 5.
EA College Sports.
It's in the game.
25 toughest places to play. Number 1 in all of college football. It is Jim Dunaway's number 1 choice. The LSU Tigers, number 1. Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Then you go Big Ten. Penn State, Ohio State. Then it's Georgia.
Penn State. Are you kidding me?
Penn State.
The list has done it too.
Yeah.
Penn State, give me the big games they win at that place.
That is a joke.
How is that a hard place to play?
Georgia, Alabama at number 5 there. Others of note in the SEC, LSU 7, Oklahoma 8, nope. Texas A&M 11, nope. Tennessee 12, nope. Texas 13, nope. South Carolina 16, Jordan-Hare Stadium, Auburn 17. Man, that's
probably about right.
The love for Jordan-Hare Stadium is starting to.
Well, people are starting to see the numbers.
Starting to dwindle.
Yeah. I mean, look, in LSU, Tiger Stadium's an amazing place. I've seen some massive games there. But, we saw the win percentage against top 25s over the last 3 years. And they've won 35% of those games. I don't know what the percentage is in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah. By the way, at the bottom of that top 25 list, at 25, Davis Wade Stadium, Mississippi State.
I mean, that's one of the easiest places in the conference to play. I don't know how that's number 25.
Finley Stadium?
I know.
It's in the game. It's EA Sports out July 10th if you're into that kind of stuff. A couple of our great sponsors includes our friends at Hemp Hill. They bring you Lance's Lock every day. Were you on the Atlanta Braves again last night?
I stayed away from that series just because it has been so Braves dominant. 5-0 now against the Mets this year. The Mets have completely, the bottom has fallen out. Had the Astros a 1-0 win. Had the Twins, they lost by 1 run to the Mariners. So we had a split last night. We will have more winners up in Major League Baseball today. Free play every single day at lanceslog.com. Before you know it, we will have preseason NFL action. Jump on board and win with us. It was always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trusted name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Any of those arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train, or hemphillservices.com.
Hey, from sweet to heat, Bojangles has 7 sauces that will definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite you take. Nothing pairs better with those sauces than hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard. You want to add some tang, try barbecue. You want some heat? How about creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper? If you're craving smooth and creamy, house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, classic Bo sauce, they are ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles, order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's Bo time.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers. You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
It's Bo time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's Bo time.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs,
Trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Friend of the show, Josh Pate, with a massive tweet right now on what we were talking about going to break. He just tweeted this seconds ago. Josh Pate, college football, keeping an eye. He's a Southerner. He knows the Braves. Josh Pate writes, "Some are alive today because of modern medicine. The Braves are alive today because of the New York Mets."
That's true.
Going for the sweep again, second sweep of the year to the Mets, who have lost 10 of 11, I believe, since the Tampa Bay Rays put a hole in the side of their port side of their ship there.
That's a good line by Pete.
Atlanta wins 7-4 last night. Olsen with 3 RBIs. You can go back and catch one of the best pennant graces of all time, I'm told, yesterday on replay. A new live version coming up tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time. Also in baseball last night, Chase Burns became the first person in the last 50 years, that's as far as they counted back last night, to start his major league career with 5 strikeouts. Not as a hitter, as a pitcher.
I was about to ask which. Yeah, okay.
Chase Burns is with the Cincinnati Reds. He's a lifelong New York Yankees fan. They call him up for his major league debut last night, ironically against the torpedo bat-swinging New York Yankees. And in his first inning, he strikes out the side, including Aaron Judge, hitting 98 to 100 miles per hour with a sweeping slider. Then he starts off the second inning with 2 strikeouts. He goes 5 innings, 8 strikeouts, gives up 3 earned runs in his major league debut. Hats off Chase Burns there. The stat line of the night last night, brought to you by our friends at Odie's, where you guys will be doing trivia tonight.
Yeah, boy, they come up fast, by the way. So Burns is the 5th guy drafted in last year's first round to already be in the bigs.
Holy cow.
It goes quick now.
It really does. Odie's team trivia. Actually, Brown will be there tonight. I will be with young Jack Taylor at Def Leppard.
You'll be pouring some sugar on, won't you?
We will be doing that, yes. But Brown will be out a little after 8 o'clock. Abby Joe is going to be joining you and Will Haver on that main stage. Get there early, the original location in Crestline. Enjoy some of the great food from Rodney Davis. Had an opportunity to see Rodney last night. He's been doing it for almost 40 years. The award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. But get in either location, the original Crestline, newest location in Edgewood, Birmingham Institution, it's Odie's Tavern.
So LT will be at Def Leppard tonight at the new amphitheater, Coca-Cola Amphitheater here in Birmingham.
Sweating my balls off.
Yeah,
probably.
that's what I've heard.
Not a sponsor. We just love the Birmingham folks and our friends at Coca-Cola. So the Coca-Cola Amphitheater down there with Def Leppard tonight. Last night was the first musical concert after first we went to Matt Rife. The first event was a comedian. Last night, Dave Matthews. This is from our viewer, Bobby in Homewood. Great scene. See the skyline to the left and the stage with the big screens at the beautiful new Coca-Cola Amphitheater here in Birmingham, packed out for Dave Matthews, our buddy Aaron Suttles, who is with Bama and Bourbon. He was there last night. He posted number 41, the 41st time he has seen the Dave Matthews Band. He was there last night. And
that's a lot.
Some of the scenes, as the sun started to set, the Coca-Cola Amphitheater sent out this video last night of just the setting sky there. And my buddy Mike Kennedy was there. Shout out Mike. And he said until the sun goes down with this 95-degree heat, it's a heater.
Yeah, a lot of concrete, a lot of heat. But I would rather have that than any rain come through.
Yeah, I would agree.
Hey, how different do you think the demographics going to be from last night with Dave Matthews to Def Leppard?
A little different, yeah.
Not too much, but a little bit.
A little different.
Yeah,
maybe a bit of an older crowd, you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it is not too different.
Are you guys Dave Matthews fans?
Yeah, I like him. They're on my playlist. So is Def Leppard. I love both of them.
Tyler with a hard no there.
Hard no.
Hard no for Tyler.
Yeah, I think. I mean, he's obviously talented. I like some of the stuff, but
I'm middle of the road on Dave Matthews.
I was offered 2 tickets last night at a little event we were at 5 o'clock last night. And I was like, no, thank you. Like, hey, I'm going to give you these 2 tickets, really good tickets. No.
Yeah, I'm like Dave Matthews. I don't necessarily change the song when it comes on, but I also don't seek out Dave Matthews. I'm like,
yeah.
Yep.
But I know people that are like massive Dave Matthews
Like,
fans.
I've never downloaded a Dave Matthews song. Def Leppard, I probably have 15 downloaded.
Yeah.
So that's all happening in town musically. Look forward to that. Let's do our 40 and 40 team today. It is the Champions Boxing 40 and 40 countdown. We move into the top 10. Really, we should be all playoff teams from here on out, just about. Some of you don't have this team in there. We'll talk about our team at number 10 after LT tells us about our fine folks at Champions.
Champions Boxing, great place, located right there in Pelham behind the Purple Onion off of Highway 31. For more information, Instagram, you can go to @ChampionsBoxingAL, Facebook @ChampionsBoxingAL. The official sports boxing coordinator for the 2025 World Police and Fire Games held in Birmingham this July. You've got a son or daughter at home. They're trying to get involved in an activity. They need a little structure in their life. This could be absolutely perfect. Anyone looking for just a workout different from throwing up just a barbell, come check them out at Champions Boxing. Any former athletes looking to try another sport to compete in after high school or college, this could be perfect for you. Boxing for fitness and competition, all ages starting at 9 years old. Get in, see Akash, Jake, Mailman, the great staff. Tell them the next round sent you.
All right, number 10. Here comes Miami. The Hurricanes come sliding in ahead of Illinois and BYU from earlier this week. The U, are they back? We've been saying that a long time. Here's the way the vote broke down. One person of our 45 voters had them not ranked, not in the top 25, and that's Cole Johnson. You'll say, maybe Cole doesn't respect the ACC. Not true. Cole had Clemson 2, Florida State 19, North Carolina 22, and Virginia Tech 25. He's just not buying Miami.
He may be getting Mario fired if they're unranked.
Well, here's the thing with Miami. The offense was fantastic. Number 1 in total offense, number 1 in scoring offense, but you lose Cam Ward. Not only do you lose Cam Ward, you lose Damian Martinez, 1,000-yard back. You lose your top 6 pass catchers. So you got to completely reload at skill, starting with Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck's going to be really good. He's not going to be Cam Ward. The defense is going to have to be much better. They were 69th in scoring defense, giving up over 25 points per game. But here is the benefit for Miami. This schedule is about as easy as it gets. They could possibly be favored in 11 games. I think they're going to end up being favored in 10.
Including the opener? No. Notre Dame be a slight favorite?
I think Notre Dame will be a slight favorite in Coral Gables. And then I think the next time they're underdogs, maybe at SMU, but they might be favored there.
Yeah, that's Bethune-Cookman there. That is not USC. Those logos can be confusing. A couple more stats, Bram, before you jump in there. Highest ranked of our voters, Josh Sisk had him at number 7. A couple of guys had him at 8, including Bo O'Neill and Aaron Ryan up here. Playoffs, 17 of our voters had him making the playoffs. And then on the show, Forrester had him in the playoffs ranked highest at 9. I had him in the playoffs ranked 10th. Then Brownie had him 12th. LT had him 16th. And Little T, Taylor Korn, buying him the least at 17.
The schedule's the only thing that I think could get them in. I just don't think this offense is going to be nearly as dynamic as it was last year. If they beat Notre Dame, watch out. That's all I would say.
I would agree. Look, Notre Dame, brand new starter in that game.
Yeah.
Sunday night game in the heat of Miami. I mean, it really, there are a lot of things in that game you would favor Miami over Notre Dame. They're certainly going to have the edge in quarterback experience. I'm not saying Beck will play the better game, but he's far more experienced.
And I don't know what the realistic expectation is, but if I'm a Miami fan and I know, according to the reports, and whether they're a little off here and there, they are spending in the top 10. The number is in the top 6 programs spending $40 million a year. But if we're spending that type of money and my coach is making $8 million a year, in the ACC, I expect if SMU can get there, we should be there every other year.
So, Tyler, here's cut number 1 now, Mario Cristobal. He is talking about going from the first overall pick, Cam Ward, to now experienced Carson Beck at quarterback. Do you expect a drop-off offensively?
From what you see, do you feel like there's explosive potential on offense with this group?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We don't, there's no intention of going backwards on offense. The obvious is there was such a high standard last year with points and yards. And there's a lot of way to get points and yards, and I feel that we have the capabilities of doing it both ways. Our running game is strong, our offensive line is strong, our quarterback room is excellent, it's strong. Our receivers, some of them are young, but we've played with young receivers at Miami before for a long time and won a lot of games with that. And then some of the older guys have done a really good job as well, maturing and developing. And the tight end room is something that you saw towards the end of the year was being used more and more. We've got to keep doing that. So I do feel really good about our explosiveness capabilities and the ability of our coaches to put the ball in the hands of the guys that can make plays.
Okay, so the offense there with Carson Beck. I'll ask this question. Bigger for Mario Cristobal. Today, in our fan vote being ranked number 10, or last night hitting the number 19 with his wife Jess. Man, a big week for him. Anniversary last night. And then today, going into the rankings, Mario sending this out last night with his beautiful wife, Jess, 19 years, number one, always, forever. Number one, Jess in his eyes. Will Mario ever get Hurricanes of Miami to number one in the ACC?
Yeah, maybe in the ACC. I'll tell you what, if somebody ever played him in a movie, Ray Stevenson.
Ray
Stevenson. I don't know if you guys know the actor was in Rome, a really underrated HBO show, but Tyler, pull Ray Stevenson if you can. Spot on. You talked about, and I hate to put these guys in the same sentence, but Steve Spurrier always lost games he shouldn't. Mario Cristobal, you go back 2021 Oregon, how they lost to 3-9 Stanford that really cost them everything that year.
Now do Georgia Tech.
Well, Georgia Tech 2 years ago, that game was over.
One.
But I'm talking about this year. All you've got to do is beat either Georgia Tech or Syracuse in November, and you're in the college football playoff.
Yeah, Georgia Tech or Syracuse.
That's it.
Miami should be better, at least in Syracuse, where Fran Brown had them last year. Really should more than Georgia Tech too, just a recruit.
Ray Stevenson looks a little glamorous here, but I've seen him pull back a little bit in Rome, wearing a toga, and being a Spartan.
He could be Mario. He could be Mario Cristobal for sure.
Go ahead.
If I'm a Miami fan, or a booster, or an athletic director, or whatever, and this team, I don't know what the number is, but missing the playoff would be bad. Less than 9 wins would certainly be bad. I say, this is year 4. You've had plenty of time to recruit. We apparently support NIL because you're able to pop guys out of the portal all the time. And in fact, with that in mind, the last 2 years, you've gone and gotten what you think is the best quarterback available in the country, and we're still not in the playoffs. I just wonder what you do at that point if you're a Miami booster or whatever.
I mean, Cam Ward, arguably the greatest portal get ever as far as the quarterback position.
You got a quarterback out of the portal that ended up being the number 1 overall pick. I don't know how you could say any different.
Heisman finalist. You led the nation in total offense and scoring offense. And what did it? You had 3 losses and didn't even get to a college football playoff.
Played a random bowl game. I mean, at some point, I just say, Jim, to all those things, like, you've proven to me you can't do it.
Miami in at number 10. Taylor Tannebaum from the ACC Network joins us at 11 Central to start hour 3 to talk more about Miami, the ACC, and Thomas Castellanos and Florida State's opener with Alabama. She's at the epicenter there of everything that the new Florida State quarterback
has he gotten out of the sheets yet and come out with a new comment today?
Thomas firing off just yet?
He is not yet.
Let me talk about Iran and Israel. That's what he's going to say next.
Our friends at Way to Wellness bringing you the show. Your journey to healthy living starts with Leslie and her board-certified team. All you have to do is jump on the website at planforme.com, planforme.com, and right there you'll find out several different ways that you can jumpstart your weight loss. It starts with these facts. 1, a free consultation with Leslie and her team. She'll lay out all the menu, everything that she has to offer. That includes injection therapy to meal replacements. I do some protein bars between healthy meals. It's all right there, planforme.com. It starts with that free consultation. There is no contracts either, and every plan is designed specifically for you. Jumpstart your weight loss today by going to the website, planforme.com. Planforme.com has actually helped me with my cholesterol numbers tremendously when I lose weight. It's our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. BYU has done it now in another sport. Last year we told you A.J. Diabatsa, the number 1 overall recruit in college basketball, took $5 million to go play basketball at BYU. It's paying dividends. They have a lot of big games scheduled. They're going to be highly ranked in the preseason because of the lottery pick they brought in at BYU. They have done it in football now. Yesterday on the Pat McAfee Show, the best available quarterback that was still out there, 5-star to some, 4-star to others, Ryder Lyons picks BYU over everybody. He's a California kid from Folsom High School in Folsom, California, listed as a 5-star by some services. On the McAfee Show, he says, I am going to be a BYU Cougar. They are in the NIL game at BYU.
Well, look, I mean, they had their own channel for a while on DirecTV.
Yeah, they still do.
Okay.
I don't know if it's on DirecTV, but BYU's channel is part of the university. It's part of their religious programming.
A massive following. So they've got a ton of money. That kid, by the way, looks like he's 12.
He really does.
Looks like a savant coming out of 8th grade.
Yeah, I saw him doing this on McAfee yesterday. I was like, man, is this kid even old enough to play football? But I saw, Lance, this is their first 5-star rated by any, if he signs with them, rated by any service since 2003, and I could not even begin to tell you who the 2003 5-star was.
It was an offensive lineman who ended up going into MMA and not football.
Seriously?
Wow, okay.
I can't pronounce his name. He was Samoan.
Yeah, Samoan.
Yes.
But yeah, so, I mean, they don't get a lot of 5-stars at BYU.
If I'm a BYU fan, I'm excited, but this never comes backwards. So if the next 5-star they want to get, they're going to be like, hey, man, you guys are paying a lot of money. I'm going to need my $4 or $5 million. But if they've got, unlimited funds.
Well, they've got a ton of money. The church does. Now, I don't know that there's an appetite in the Church of the Latter-day Saints to be a football power. I don't know that. But, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, if the Mormon Church ever says, you know what a good way to spread our message is? Go win a bunch of football games. Look what it did for Ohio State. Look what it did for Alabama. Their programs, people know everything about Ohio State and Alabama.
Notre Dame,
another religious school. If we want people to know about, the Church of the Latter-day Saints, we could do it through football. If they ever decide to do that, they got the money to spend.
I thought it was interesting yesterday with Joel Klatt because we were talking about the Big 12, and he's like, man, I have no idea because there's not an obvious. The only thing I would say obvious now is we know Texas Tech is going to spend a ton of money, and I think BYU is going to spend a ton of money. I don't know if there's any other commitment to football in the Big 12 like that. There's some really good programs out there, but if BYU wants to spend as much as they can on football and Texas Tech wants to spend as much as they can on football, every 2 or 3 years they're going to get lucky and have a really good season.
According to the Salt Lake Tribune in 2024, I just go AI Dunaway. I got the AI first. In 2024, they had $293 billion in investments. Yeah. Billion with a B. So if they ever decide we're just going to peel off $1 billion of that, I mean, they have to do that.
I think a better investment instead of the DirecTV channel would be an investment in football.
Yeah.
That channel, though, broadcasts their sermons and things like
but
that.
I mean,
I understand what you're saying.
But if they want to profile, I mean, obviously they are very passionate about people learning about their religion, right? To your point, they've got their own channel for it. I mean, there are worse ways to open the door, open the window to other people about your religion than college football. And if they ever decide we're just going to do it through college football, they got the money to do it. Now, you can't just buy teams, I guess. You got to have a good coach, too, but they've certainly got the money to do it.
By the way, while we're talking recruiting, before we get to the viewing menu, Hayes Fawcett, who handles all the graphics for On3 Sports, and I assume he does – give me Forrester's microphone. Forrester, I mean, I feed you none today, I don't think, but I usually feed you at least 3 a day for Hayes Fawcett, and yesterday I sent you like 16 right before the show. He probably doesn't do those he probably pre-works these, right? He has them ready to go when somebody commits.
Yeah, I imagine he's pretty well informed by whoever informs him.
Yeah,
and
he works
knocking these out along the way.
Works ahead on these graphics,
no doubt.
He drops this last night, which shows you he's been working ahead on some certain schools, I believe. From Hayes Fawcett last night, I love that picture you picked of Kirby Forrester, by the way.
It seemed to match the mood that
tongues out like
probably
he's ready to eat. Hayes Fawcett last night. Georgia recruiting is about to go on a capital letter heater. It's already been a great month for the Bulldogs, but they're about to turn it up a notch. That from Hayes Fawcett last night on social media. So if you're a dog, get ready. Next few days, according to Hayes, he's going to have some graphics coming out to you. Before we get to the Michelson viewing menu today, we always love to give shout-outs on the show.
Perfect segue. I reunited with a lifelong friend a few years ago, Chris Rothoff, great guy. He's a Georgia fan, by the way.
How about that?
So that was perfect on the backside. It doesn't play well here. He went to Homewood High School, and he's a Georgia fan.
So he's back on the bandwagon now. He's jumped on the Georgia bandwagon again, probably gave him up in the Ray Goff years.
So honestly, Chris had some struggles years ago, and I didn't know if Chris would be around in 2025. But, through faith and family, he has turned his life around. He is such a great guy. We do one-on-one, kind of a men's fellowship. We'll meet. We try to meet every week, and we just talk through life. His brother, Brian, and I remember growing up over in Edgewood, seeing his older brother, Brian Rothoff, just great guy. He has really, really struggled the last few months. But they're listening and watching today, and family is around him. His wife, his mom, his sister, his brother, Chris. So shout out to Brian Rothoff, and get well, hang in there, love you.
Tell me Brian was a Bama fan.
He probably was.
It probably was.
Yeah.
That's right, Brian.
That's what we're going to go with, right?
Roll Tide.
Yeah, Brian probably not a Georgia Bulldog, and I would say Chris was a front runner, but he wasn't. He was a Georgia Bulldog fan back in the Mark Richt days, even Ray Goff days. So,
okay,
there you go. But shout out to Brian, and you guys have some good quality family time, some hugs, and some shared memories, and hang in there.
That gets us to our viewing menu today, brought to you by Michelson Laser Vision. What are you watching today after LT tells you about Michelson?
205-969-8100. I had the 2200 Vision. Didn't even realize it. Wore the contacts for over a decade. Was wasting money each and every year on the contacts and solution. Now 2015 Vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made. Very important. Ask for Amy, 205-969-8100. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Tonight we got a new release on FX. It is a show that has gotten a lot of love, and I haven't watched it because I'm afraid it'll stress me out. And that's The Bear.
It is quite stressful. That's why I gave it up.
Love it.
I did not like it. Jennifer and I think, did a season and a half, and I just got tired of it.
See, I've spent too much time in kitchens to watch that show.
But it is so spot on in that industry. I don't know why I tapped out, but I've tapped out of Peaky Blinders again after 2 seasons.
I like Peaky Blinders.
I'll tell you why you tap out. In my opinion, it's at some point it's the old jump the shark thing. They do something, and when it got harder to watch The Bear is when they went from the original shop to where they upgraded it to a better restaurant. It wasn't as interesting as when they were just barely putting it all together.
It lost its grittiness, kind of.
Like Lavoie's.
For the first year when they were basically keeping the doors open and barely getting the sandwich out in time.
That is hard to do. I went to a nostalgic place over the weekend that I hadn't been to in a long time, and it had changed. It was at one location for 40 or 50 years, and it changed locations recently. And there's just something about the character completely goes away.
Like Deadwood as a TV show, first year was fantastic. And then the wife comes to town. That's not really his wife, and it breaks up the dynamic, and the guy becomes the sheriff. It's season 2, not as good as season 1, and it changed the whole dynamic in season 2.
I almost think if you can do a great series in one season, we talk about the greatest season of television ever could be True Detective, season 1. If you can do a really good season, and you want more coming back, but I think that's what makes it so good. So, I would rather see the one-offs than these series that go on for 6-7 years.
You almost need, and nobody ever does this, but you almost need when you come and present a series idea to me, you need to stick by your guns and say, okay, I have written this thing out, and it's 4 years. We've got this many episodes, and that's how many we're going to have. And nobody ever does that because you know what that 5th year would be? More money.
Yep.
6 year would be more
We don't
money.
want to end it at 4.
Yeah, but 4 years, this is going to be really good for 4 years. But nobody ever does that.
Yeah, I think that's why Breaking Bad is always remembered as being like one of the greatest shows ever made.
Because it's a complete arc. It's just perfect.
You got 5 seasons, beginning, middle, end, over.
Yeah, Sopranos same way. I mean, it's just almost impossible to do. Like Game of Thrones, as great as it was, they couldn't stick that final season. You know, one-offs, the Mayor of Easttown with Kate Winslet. If you haven't seen it, it was
good.
great.
True Detective.
The Night Of, if you haven't seen that on HBO, 8 parts, that's all it is. I mean, there's some really, really good one-offs.
We've also got a new theatrical release tonight. The Meltdown will be attending a special early access screening of F1.
Oh.
It'll be me, Tim, and I believe EG is coming along as well.
Okay. Can I ask a question? Because I think I almost watched this last night.
F1?
With Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Was it available on my streaming
No,
service?
you can only watch the trailer. When you open it, it looks like it's available.
Yeah, because it's an Apple movie that's a theatrical release, and you don't
Okay.
get the... Is this the first Apple movie to ever have a theatrical release?
No, Killers of the Flower Moon was an Apple movie as well.
Yeah.
Okay, because
you can only watch the trailer, but it does
popped
look like,
up. I'm watching this series with Owen Wilson.
Is that any
do you
good?
like it?
I watched first scene.
I've heard mixed reaction.
I couldn't do it.
I watched 3 episodes. It's good for my kind of television. It's just just good relationships.
Yeah.
And but no, it's not fantastic. But as I was going to watch episode 3, I was like, can I watch that right now? But apparently it was just a trailer. I didn't click it because I
got baited into the same
I have a
thing,
hard
too.
time of watching a movie, which is an hour and 56 minutes, but I'll watch 3 episodes of a 55-minute series and no problem.
You know, there's not a lot of Brad Pitts out there as far as leading men. And what I'm saying by that is somebody that can do it for basically 4 decades. Really, he's done it as a heartthrob. So the women love him, but the dudes like him too. They're like, man, I'd like to hang out with Brad Pitt. He always plays cool guys.
Yep.
Like, he's such a likable. I mean, he's one of the. Would you say he's one of the great lead men of all time in Hollywood?
I would. Tom Cruise was talking about that recently, talking about the death of the movie star and how there's just so few actors nowadays that can put people in the seats for a theatrical release. You've got Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and then I think Glenn Powell will be the next guy to do it.
Oh,
but
I don't see that, but
I do.
Well, I mean, generational things maybe. Brad Pitt for us, and maybe for you, this is going to be your Brad Pitt.
I just know Brad Pitt, great actor, really. Yeah. The same with Tom Cruise. Now, Tom Cruise, everybody will forget how good his acting chops are because all he does is hang off of planes and jump motorcycles now.
Yeah.
But Brad Pitt, I mean, from where he was, Thelma and Louise, to where he is now an actor, from movies like 12 Monkeys and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Seven. I mean, he's just had a tremendous career.
I love him, and I love the fact that he risked it all back in his early days when Gwyneth Paltrow and he were dating, and Paltrow came and said that I don't want to give the wrong director.
I want you
producer.
to look like me.
No, it was one of those creepy producers who made her feel uncomfortable, and Brad Pitt went to him and said, "If you ever do that again, I will kill you."
Whoa!
And she was like, she told the story on Call Her Daddy, and I think I've got the right actress here. Did her and Brad Pitt date?
Yeah, no, they were married.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah, or they dated for a long time.
Yeah, early in his career, she was like, he went and he risked everything, and I was just starting, and he risked everything to go tell the guy that he will kill him.
I wonder if that was during
hope
the
more people
production
would
of
do
Seven,
that.
Then.
Yeah, it's Seven.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They were together.
Because they played a married couple in that movie.
Yeah.
And that would have been early in Brad Pitt's career.
So I like the fact that he risked everything there to stick by his morals there.
Yeah, he was with Juliette Lewis early on, and then Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, he's Jennifer Aniston. He likes the actresses.
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie.
At work all the time. Anything else for you, Tyler?
And then one more thing to watch tonight. If you're not looking to watch F1 tonight, but you want to get in that racing mood, you can go to FX at 7 p.m. or watch it on Hulu, because anything available on FX is also available on Hulu. You can watch Gran Turismo. It's based on the video game and the weird true story of this gamer who was just obsessed with playing this racing game, winning a tournament, and getting a shot to race for real, and he ended up succeeding. And it stars David Harbour and Orlando Bloom.
Is that the video game where drivers to your car, and it makes a big announcement, and then the lady drops and goes red, and the race starts?
I think you're thinking of Prepare to Qualify. What game was that?
That's it. That was it. Yeah.
I can't remember the game. It was an old Sega Genesis game.
Yeah. This was one you'd set down.
Prepare to Qualify.
You'd set in, you'd shift. I guess it'd be Dave and Buster's now, whatever it used to be back in the day. That's what Tyler's watching. You got it?
Was it Outrun?
No. I'll find it.
Super Hang On.
Nope. I'll find it.
Virtual Racing.
No, I'll find it.
All right.
Pole
position. That's right, Tyler.
That's it.
All right, thank you, Scott.
Really good.
Yes.
Lags bringing you this part of the show. We'll move quickly to hour number 2 after LT tells us about the great folks at Lags.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night dining. You can get it from our friends at Lags. Get in and see Eric, Justin, the fine folks there. It was a great brand in Homewood back in the 80s. They have brought it back to the Avondale area, located conveniently between Avondale and Cahaba Brewing, a stone's throw away from Mom's Basement. Tonight they go all the way till midnight, starting tomorrow, Friday and Saturday, all the way till 2 a.m. The delicious burgers, bologna sandwiches, fantastic selection of beer, frozen drinks, patio out there to sit out, watch the Braves. One of the best happy hours in all of Birmingham. Get in and see Eric, Justin, all the fine folks at Lags, and tell them the next round sent you.
And our great friends at New Life Art, they bring you all the works of Daniel A. Moore, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR. Look at those great works from the goal line stand to the dive from Kenyon Drake in the desert that gets Alabama another national championship. Get them all right there with our friends at New Life Art. Go to the website and check out all the things available to you. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Hang out with the next round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the next round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming Alabama basketball painting, Buzzer Beater. Closing out the regular season, Alabama and Auburn faced off in a top 10 matchup. With less than 1 second remaining in overtime and the game tied at 91, Mark Sears launched a 15-foot floater that sealed the Tide's victory. Visit DanielMooreArt.com and see the artist's preliminary sketch of this historic Bama win. And take advantage of special pre-production pricing for Buzzer Beater.
Hey, friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Okay, we're going to start this hour off with our Bojangles Tender Moment of the Day, brought to you by our friends at Bojangles Brownie. And then I've sent Forrester 3 things, and the third thing I think will be a reaction to the first 2 things. So
okay,
let's see if I
Quite the tease.
See if I know my co-host after 16 years. By the way, a third of your life, a quarter of our lives, we've done this show together, just to show you how much time we've all spent together.
Wow, that
it's
is
our
crazy to think
Bojangles Tender Moment of the Day.
From sweet to heat, Bojangles has 7 sauces that will definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with sauces than hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard. If you want to add some tang, try barbecue. You want some sweet heat? How about that creamy buffalo or that peach honey pepper? And if you want smooth and creamy, the house-made ranch jalapeno ranch or classic bow sauce ready and waiting. Head to Bojangles and order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's bow time.
I mean, do you ever think about that when this ends, whenever this ends, that a third of our lives we've spent together doing this? A third of our lives.
I've never thought of it in those terms, no.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day that I started this in 1997. I started working in radio or in sports and full-time in 1997. I'm approaching 30 years. That's pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah. So here's our Bojangle Tender Moment of the day. Taylor Corn and I have not been doing this a third of my life, but it feels like it. We butt heads all the time.
Right.
Taylor and I do not get along on some things. Well, on one thing. She sends this out last night on social media, replying to College Football Reddit. Taylor Corn, College Football Live says, who has the best white jerseys in college football? Taylor went Stormtrooper, the Auburn uniform there, the Stormtrooper whites.
Not a homer at all.
Yeah.
Well, I bet I know where Dunaway went.
Quickly, I replied, in typical Jim and Taylor fighting each other fashion, there's only one correct answer here, and that, of course, is that picture right there, the Alabama whites. Yeah. That's a video of them moving around. Who has the best white jerseys in college football? Who knows your guest? Who knows your co-host best? Anybody else has a suggestion there on who has the best white uniforms?
Well, I mean, look,
football?
as soon as I say you guys are homers, I'm being a homer here, but I think USC's white jersey with the yellow pant is the best looking college football, and I think second would be Texas all white.
Unveil my third image that I sent Scott Forrester there. It's the USC whites. I knew he was going to say it.
So that's your favorite USC roadie is the white with the yellow pant?
Yes, that looks so good. That's a beautiful jersey.
Yeah, I knew. Know your host.
I like it, Lance. I am not crazy about the little things on the shoulders there. I don't know why that bothers me. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but I don't know why it deducts points.
You know the Rams used to be those colors?
The Rams did?
For 1 year.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So was that when they were in L.A.?
Yeah.
First year.
What was it? It was their first season?
I don't know if it was first year. It was early.
Of the two, Alabama's white Alabama's road uniform is better than Auburn's. I think Alabama's road uniform is a top 2 or 3 uniform in all of college football.
Just because it's so clean.
It is just completely clean. There's no frills, but it's just a good-looking road uniform. And Auburn's is, too. The Stormtrooper is good, but Alabama's is better.
Nebraska's is good, too.
Yeah.
While we're talking uniforms here, let's go back in time. 1986, Tennessee only wore these one time, one game. Nike specially made them for Tennessee, and they got a bunch of them, and they only wore them for one game. This was floating around last night.
In 1986?
Okay. For the third Saturday in October national television game, Keith Jackson on the call, they wore orange shoes, orange cleats, 1986. Alabama won the game 56-28 in Neyland Stadium. They packed up those and stored them for years, according to the report last night, years in storage inside the football complex until, as Chris Lowe pointed out, well-placed sources, and Chris Lowe's a Tennessee guy, say the infamous orange shoes, most of them anyway, were packed up and sent to Russia for a startup football league.
It's like
don't think that startup football league made it very far.
I don't think so.
That moment in SEC history, brought to you by Chris Lowe, those orange cleats packed up and sent to Russia for a startup football league.
Where are you guys on uniformed cleats and shoes for teams? Because I used to be back in the day, I was like, man, I wish everybody could wear their own. But now that they do, it's so different that I almost wish you were back to the uniform cleat and high top.
I wish it was like the NFL. I wish there was a rule, because in college basketball, Auburn has a great basketball uniform, and then they would wear some of these bright colors, and occasionally they'd be missed. And I know they do them for reasons.
But you know, the NFL doesn't have uniform cleats anymore.
They have missed. A couple of the Auburn basketball players would wear mismatched colors occasionally. I think it takes away from the uniform.
So let me answer the question this way. I can't tell you definitively if Alabama and Auburn wear uniform cleats.
So Milroe last year had some custom Jordan cleats. So I'm not sure what they're.
So I think that answer would be no then, that they don't.
But they're not all in black, all in white like they used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I can't tell you definitively, so it clearly does not bother me because I can't tell you whether they do wear uniform cleats or not.
But like with breast cancer awareness, when I'm watching a Padres game and it's a Padre uniform and then a pink sleeve, I know he's doing it for a reason. I don't love it because if it's a one day, one game, one situation, but to be able to wear it all the time,
I agree.
It takes away from the uniform.
There's something about that your cleat, your calls that they do in the NFL, which I think is really cool because they've got these customs, and then they talk about
that's
these,
one weekend though, right?
Yeah, it's one weekend. The random charitable organizations you've never heard of and the great causes out there. But yeah, one weekend. The other, I'd like it more uniform. Maybe that's just old man talking.
Hence the word uniform.
Yeah, I mean, but I was watching a Braves game this year at some point, and I cannot remember if it was Acuna or Azuna that came to the plate, and the dude, like every extra thing he was wearing was neon yellow. No offense to your shirt.
Shout out Roback. Summer colors.
Yeah,
this is a good thin hoodie too.
I like the look of it. Yeah. Everything he was wearing was neon yellow, and it was just like, it was so off-putting. I don't know, man. I don't want to sound like an old man, but at some point, your team colors are your team colors. At least try to match all that, right?
Absolutely. All right, so the show being brought to you by our friends at A+. Brownie, tell us about A+.
That is who redid the master bathroom in the Brown home. When it came time to do that, we decided when we bought our house, we knew we were going to redo our master bath, but sometimes you kind of kick the can down the road. We finally said, okay, now's the time. So my wife, Jennifer, got on the internet. She scoured the heck out of that puppy. And she ended up with Brad Bell after talking to a ton of contractors, people that use certain contractors. Brad was the guy she picked. I'm glad she did. His crews did tremendous work, and you can see more of his work at alabamabathremodels.com. That's alabamabathremodels.com. Now, what Brad specializes in is master bath kitchen and master bedroom closets. That is not to say it is all he does, but he definitely specializes in those things for this reason. You're going to spend a lot of time in those rooms, and if you go to sell your house, those rooms really pop when people come to look at your house, so it's going to help your sale price. Here is Brad's number. Get him to come out, look at your job, and do the same work he did in my house. 205-422-1758, 205-422-1758, or just go online and see more before and afters like my bathroom and many others. AlabamaBathRemodels.com, AlabamaBathRemodels.com.
Hey, maybe you've got wife or girlfriend's birthday coming up, mom's birthday, maybe your husband, something special. You just want to give somebody the gift of relaxation. You can do it from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Give the gift of luxury from Birmingham's best day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa, located at the Summit Shopping Center's beautiful location up there. Stop in, see Stuart and the great staff. Tell them the Next Round sent you, or you can order the gift card 24/7 online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Let that person choose from a menu of over 70 options, including the body treatment, skincare, massages, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, for more information and to order online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Before we talk about the NBA draft tonight, a couple other basketball notes, including Alabama earlier this week. I didn't get to it yesterday. We just ran out of time with Joel Klatt being on the show for an extensive period of time. Latrell Wrightsell got cleared for his medical red shirt. I didn't know that there was any doubt. I thought he'd already been cleared, but
I did too.
He finally is cleared after only playing 8 games. 6'3" guard, considered to be the best perimeter defender on the Alabama roster, hits three-point shots at near a 40% clip. And you put him in the backcourt with LeBaron Philon and Aiden Holloway, and according to the Field of 68, gives Alabama one of the best backcourts in college basketball with the likes of Houston, UConn, and Kentucky. And according to the Field of 68 guys, they believe Wrightsell being healthy with Philon, Holloway, and the additions Nate Oates has made makes Alabama once again an SEC championship and a Final Four contender. Do you agree?
I do agree. You know, we had what was it, Jeff Goodman? What is the basketball podcast?
Yeah, Field of 68.
Field of 68 is what we're talking about.
Yeah. When they were talking about the better ready-made roster right now, more talented Auburn or Alabama, just because of the known with Alabama.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's the known parts. Because Wrightsell, when he's healthy, now, he's missed big chunks, almost all of last year and a big chunk of the year before when they went to the Final Four with that concussion that he never really got over until they got to the Sweet 16 part of it all.
Yeah, but, I mean, the backcourt in and of it, just separate that from everything else. With Philon returning, as you mentioned, Aiden Holloway, Houston Millette, playing healthy again, and that's another one that is, back to health. And then Wrightsell, I don't know how many teams, if any, are going to have a better backcourt than that.
Yep.
And I mean, in my mind, I think we're just programmed to think most Nate Oates. It's weird to say this about Alabama basketball, but I think it's where we are with Alabama basketball is most Nate Oates rosters now you just assume are Final Four quality. I think it's the way the guy recruits, it's the way he works the portal, and the way his system works. I will be surprised if Alabama's not in the Elite Eight contending for the Final Four. I think that will be a disappointing season.
Yeah, I don't want to call it Gonzaga and Mark Few-like, but the same with Bruce Pearl. Like Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates, every year, whatever that team is, whatever the roster looks like taking the court, I just assume they're going to be Sweet 16 plus good every year.
Yeah. NBA draft tonight, 7 o'clock ABC and ESPN dual broadcast happening tonight. Before we get to the NBA draft, there may be a trade. It may be a trade during the draft. Keep an eye on former Auburn star Walker Kessler. The Lakers have been hunting this guy down, a first-round draft pick just a few years ago, 4 years ago now, from Auburn. The Lakers want him bad.
Got to have a center, man. They do not have a 5 on that roster.
And they want Kessler to be there with LeBron for another year and for Luka for a long time. So Walker Kessler could be a guy on the move. When the Rockets were trading to get Kevin Durant, the Suns really wanted Jabari Smith, also an Auburn guy from that 4 year ago draft, first rounder, and the Rockets would not give him up. So Kessler could be on the move. Keep an eye on that one. Tonight with the draft.
And by the way, he's a double-double guy. Like Kessler continues to get better and better going into year 4, and I think it'd be huge for Kessler to be able to play with those guys, but at the same time, huge for the Lakers to get a legitimate 5 that's athletic that can run with those guys.
Could be going to Los Angeles with his new wife, who is Miss America, made for Hollywood right there.
I wonder if she would get endorsement money out of that. With him playing for the Lakers and her being Miss America out in L.A.
And I don't know if she would be up to doing the Carl's Jr., Catherine Webb, Paris Hilton commercial.
True, yeah. That is an LA company, yeah.
NBA draft tonight, 7 o'clock ABC, ESPN. Cooper Flagg will be first overall to the Mavericks. It'll be the 6th number 1 overall pick for Duke all time. That leads everybody else. In fact, Duke is outlasting North Carolina, their rival, so big right now in the first round. North Carolina has only had 2 NBA lottery picks since 2013, the Tar Heels. Since 2013, just 2 lottery picks, and they both came in 2019 to a couple of guys, Kobe White and Cameron Johnson. Are they still doing anything?
Kobe White, yeah. Cameron Johnson, I don't think.
And that's been their, since 2013, that's been their 2 lottery picks.
It's hard to believe.
North Carolina.
I would have said Kentucky had the most number 1s, though.
But so you're saying Duke is about to have their 6th number 1 overall.
Number 1
and
overall.
Carolina's only had 2 lottery picks.
Since 2013.
Since 2013. Well, I know, since 2013. Yeah.
But
that does show the gap between those 2 programs.
Yeah, but 6 all time for Duke, not since 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cooper Flagg going tonight in that one. Janai Broome, we talked about him all year as possible opposite of Cooper Flagg, who's going number 1 in the draft on who is going to be the college player of the year. The question becomes, will we hear Janai's name mentioned at all tonight? Most everybody is trending. He will get picked tonight in the second round. Do you think he gets picked in the second round?
I didn't think he would, and I really don't know where he fits. But, I mean, most mock drafts that I've looked at have got him going anywhere from 45 to 60.
Here are some of those mocks. ESPN, 44 to Oklahoma City. It'd be a good place to go. The Athletic has him at 38. Bleacher Report has him at 43. Yahoo at 51. CBS Sports at 35. Just some of those that are out there right now with some of the...
Well, the guys in state that would get drafted, Janai probably first, then I would say Grant Nelson, then Mark Sears.
But none of them in the first round. When you say first, you mean the first
tomorrow
one.
night in the second round. Yeah, you will not hear Janai's name called tonight. I don't think you'll hear Sears or Nelson.
Oh, so they don't do both rounds tonight?
No, tonight... round 1, tomorrow night round 2.
By the way, seems like an incredible waste of time. You don't even guarantee contracts to the round 2 guys.
I know.
And you're going to do a whole night dedicated to them.
I thought they did them both tonight.
They used to, but I think they split it up. I think everybody, look, it works for the NFL. The NFL is able to do
Yeah, look, and it's niche, but it's probably more than, what you see with Cornhole or World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
So you do have a market that, is going to be all in. You got live programming that...
Yeah, it's at least going to get numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why.
AuburnObserver.com, AuburnObserver.com with a grid breakdown on Janai Broome, his work towards the draft and everything that you'd want leading into that NBA draft tonight and tomorrow night. I didn't know it was happening tomorrow night as well.
But I do think Grant Nelson's got the most upside
from the Alabama players.
Well, I'm talking about over Broome.
Okay.
I think his game fits better. Now Broome is going to go before Grant Nelson more than likely. I just don't think any of those guys are going to really have success at a high level at the NBA. Hope I'm wrong.
According to all reports, the NCAA will be announcing whether or not they're expanding the NCAA tournament field within the next few days. And the word coming out, according to those, including Pete Thamel, who cover college athletics, that the field will not expand more than 76 if they do expand. They're talking to the media partners. That is good because they're not going to the 90 number. 76 would be just more of the Tuesday, Wednesday play-in games. So our bracket would stay in its current form for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, opening weekend and on. Getting to 76 would just be more Tuesday, Wednesday games.
Maybe not all in Dayton, though, is the speculation, right?
No, likely at region sites.
At region sites, yeah. Which I would like better, but I don't know. And I'd like to know more details on these play-in games. Like, are we playing for 10 seeds now? Are we playing for 11 seeds? Or are we just going to push all the 16 seeds in?
Yeah.
I don't really care to watch those, though maybe they're the better games sometime. But you get some name brands in those 11 seed.
Yeah, I don't like this at all.
Yep.
I more teams does nothing for me. It's just a cash grab.
Yep.
Yeah. I never look at
being pushed by the two big SEC and Big Ten because the conference has grown so much.
No, I get that. And much like football, we've talked about, we're going to 16. I really don't mind 16, but I don't want to go higher than 16.
I agree, but
and 64 was the number. I never liked the additional 4.
I never I don't know about you guys, and it seems like we do less of this than we used to, the end of the CBS show and then all of the ESPN reaction shows would be basically debating the teams that got left out. Like, how did you leave Xavier out of this thing and put North Carolina in? And, stuff like that, right? I never look at those teams and think that team could win the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, never.
Like, I never look at those teams we're debating and be like, yeah, they're right. That's a team that can win. But did they deserve to be in? Yeah, but they're probably going to get bounced in the first 2 days.
But we have seen a lot of these teams in Dayton not a lot, but we've had a handful go to Final Fours. Not that they're ever going to win a championship, but we have seen that.
So that's the happening on the basketball circles. Back to football when we come back, including our 4 downs today. Miami was our 40-40 team at number 10 in our countdown. One team every day to SEC Media Days. We're less than 2 weeks away from being in Atlanta at SEC Media Days. In fact, we're at that little hole where the NBA draft's the biggest thing on the horizon in sports. July 13th through the 17th is SEC Media Days. If you're not paying attention to the calendar, next week is July 4th, right?
Yeah, next Friday.
At the end of next week.
Oh, it is.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah. And then we're in Atlanta for July 13th through the 17th, SEC Media Days. Also, while we're in Atlanta, the All-Star Game, July 15th. You have the Open that weekend, July 17th through the 20th, over across the pond, the final major of the year. And then the next big thing on the calendar is the first exhibition game on July 31st in the NFL with all the camps opening up. And then it's week 0 and 59. So it's that hole in the middle of summer where there's just not a whole lot going on in sports. So that's how big Atlanta will be in the next July 13th through the 17th with SEC Media Days and the All-Star Game coming up in a couple of weeks, and we look forward to being there. Twin Peaks is there for all your sports viewing year-round. We'll do 4 downs coming up on the other side. Tell us about the Peaks.
Mets Braves tonight. You want a great place to watch it and enjoy 29-degree draft. You can do it at Twin Peaks. All those Twin Peaks girls running around. Incredible bar food as well. But nobody wants, we want to remind you, does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference. They've got everything from the tequila cocktails and extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over the ice balls, local craft beers, handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out that adventurous drink menu. Second to none. And again, don't forget about the 29-degree draft served in 3D. Make sure you stop into one of those great locations for lunch or dinner. It's Twin Peaks.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Before we do our spotlight today, tell us about our friends at Hemphill when it's an opportunity for you to need someone to fix the air conditioning over the next few days. 100 in downtown New York City yesterday, 100 today in D.C., 95 here yesterday. The air conditioning goes out no matter where you are. Hemphill can help you out.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Met one of our good friends yesterday for a couple of drinks. Their AC just went out. Hemphill Services, the number Birmingham Trust since 1954. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues, hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
All right, let's do the spotlight, Tyler. If you'll hit it, man, let's rock it.
The College Football Spotlight.
The Shunnarah Spotlight, presented by our guy Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys, headquartered in Birmingham, Alabama, his hometown, for more than 24 years. They've grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. Alexander had a mission: create a firm that could handle any issue his community, which is Birmingham, faced. Well, good news. That firm now not only handles personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
All right, so Joel Klatt talked to us yesterday about big games the SEC needs to win early on. We'll talk more about that tomorrow on our show. In fact, he has sent out his 10 games of the year he cannot wait on his podcast, the Joel Klatt Show, today. That's out on social media. I want to attack this differently from the first 3 weeks of the season, though in maybe week 4. The biggest games out there that we're excited about that by the end of the year will mean nothing.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Like we know.
They seem good now.
We know Texas, Ohio State. We know LSU, Clemson. Those likely are going to have lasting impacts and will still be big games by the end of the year. I've got some marquee games here that I don't think by the end of the year will mean as much as we think they're going to mean right now.
All right.
Number one on my list is Michigan and Oklahoma, and I think that's week 2.
It is week 2. It is in Norman, for those that don't know. The storyline here, Lance, is that's going to be John Mateer's first big test against that Michigan defense, the Oklahoma quarterback that transferred in from Washington State. And on the other side of the field, it's going to be Bryce Underwood's first road game, if he is, in fact, the starter, And it's going to be an extremely hostile environment in Norman.
Seems huge.
Yeah, it does.
Huge.
And
does.
Sharon Moore going against his alma mater is going to kind of stagger the suspension. To me, the loser probably is out with what they've got to face moving forward. But this could be one of those games where you circle back and, one of these two teams could have a surprising year.
Yeah.
But I would lean with you based on Michigan first-year starting quarterback, Oklahoma with that difficult schedule that probably won't mean a lot.
By the time we get to Selection Sunday, we'll look back. Remember how big that Michigan-Oklahoma game seemed like it was going to be?
Yeah.
And then now
neither team's in the playoffs.
Both of them are. That's a rematch in the Capital One Bowl or something. I don't know. I have a feeling that we will feel different at the end of the year about Auburn and Baylor than we feel right now. Seems like a huge game. I don't know how everyone else around the country is talking about it. It was big enough for Fox to move it to Friday night.
I think it's a big game for Hugh Freeze and Auburn, and I guess Dave Aranda and Baylor. We don't live in that world really. I don't know that people are viewing this as a big college football playoff game because I don't know how many people take Auburn seriously as a playoff contender, or Baylor for that matter. I do think it's a really big game, almost a tone setter for Hugh Freeze and Auburn, but in national terms, I don't know that people feel like it's that big.
I think it's much bigger for Hugh Freeze than Dave Aranda, although they're hosting. The expectation is to win the Big 12. Baylor can lose this game, somehow get to the top of the Big 12 standings, have a one-game situation to get into a college football playoff. If Auburn was to lose this game, look, they could still get back into it, but I find it hard to believe if you lose to what is, kind of middle of the Big 12 that you're going to be able to swing it back around with some of the games you got coming up in the SEC.
For all the, and we'll talk to Taylor Tannebaum about this coming up at the top of the hour from the ACC Network. For all the Thomas Castellanos talk that's going on, there'll be a lot of build-up to Alabama, Florida State. We may not even think that's a big game by the fourth quarter, according to you.
No, I don't think it will be, but Castellanos has done us a huge favor here. Continue to spew this out. Because really, to me, it's the most exciting element of this. I am sold we're going to get more bad Mike Norvell than what we got from Mike Norvell in 2023. I agree with you. I think they're going to be a little improved. They've got to be improved from 2-10. But, with what Alabama's got, I don't care if it's Ty Simpson's first start or not, Alabama should win this game easily.
If you forgot, if you missed it earlier this week, let's just timeline what has happened with Thomas Castellanos. He told Pete Nakos of On3 Sports, and he's the new Florida State quarterback, used to be at Boston College, they don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me, he said. He went on, Castellanos, in that story to Pete at On3 Sports, to talk about how confident he is in Florida State's chances in the ACC. Quote, I feel like I tore the ACC up by my damn self for the last 2 years, and now I'm with a squad. I hope people don't think that Florida State is going to be the same team. So he tore up the ACC by my damn self, to which his teammate at Boston College, you wondered if any of them had anything to say. Cameron Martinez says, that ain't how I remember it.
That ain't how any of us. I still don't believe these comments. I really don't.
It is almost like...
It's almost like the AI creation of...
So this is completely off topic, but there's a story going around in Miami where these quotes are being attributed to a Miami Dolphins player about the culture in the locker room. And he says, I never said that. And it's all being attributed to ESPN, yet nobody can find the original ESPN article. And I don't know if anybody has come out and said, no, ESPN didn't do this. But it's created this little mini firestorm in Miami. But it looks like it's just somebody that made up the quotes and sent them, and enough people bought into them being real that they started aggregating it and reporting it as true. And that's what this feels like. It is not.
This is, honestly, do you guys think that 10% of the casual fans know who Castellanos is?
No,
but he tore up the ACC.
Yeah, by himself.
If I'm looking at Florida State, I would have them 9th or 10th in the ACC
Well,
right now.
I was about to ask that question. Is Florida State even Alabama's best out-of-conference opponent in your mind? That's a way of saying, do you think Wisconsin's better than Florida State?
Yeah, I think Florida State beats them by 10 or more.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know if I'd get on that board.
Florida State's not a bad football team. I think they'll be. I'll put them in the top 25 at the end of the year.
Wow. All right.
That would blow me away.
Yeah.
I mean, they were awful last year.
They were. Turnover at churns in college football. Was there a game that popped you? TCU North Carolina was the only one on my list. It'd be built up because of Belichick. By the end of the year, it's a big, high-profile early game that'll mean nothing.
But TCU is one of those teams with Josh Hoover back at quarterback. Because it's the Big 12, they could surprise.
If I'm wrong about one team in this game, this could be one of those where it feels big at the time. But Florida and Miami play, I think it's week 4. Florida and Miami play. I know that's outside your first 3-week window, but I believe that's
week 4. Is that right?
Because
then Miami plays Florida State in week 5?
Yeah, well, and then Florida's the one you got to look at.
I got a
there.
4 downs question coming up that this is going to tie this all together. So Dunaway probably knew that I was coming with this question. This is why we're talking about this.
Yeah. As Brown looks for that, and before we do 4 downs, Michelson Laser Vision, bringing you part of the show. There's the Florida schedule, Brown. You pull it up.
Yeah, it's week 4. It's right after they've gone to LSU. They go to Miami. And, as Lance said, for Miami, you've already played Notre Dame. You got to bye, and then you go to Florida State. I mean, there's a chance that Florida-Miami game could feel like if Florida has upset LSU, if Miami has beat Notre Dame, that could feel like a big game. But by the end of the year, they both could be out of the playoffs.
Yeah. We'll get back to the Miami schedule and our 4 downs here after you tell us about our friends at Michelson.
205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. I got the procedure done in 2003. Still have the 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Conveniently located UAB Highlands. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
First down.
So Cooper Flagg will go number 1 overall tonight. When you look at what is going to be surrounding him in Dallas, this is one of the best situations for a number 1 overall pick of all time. If you get a healthy Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving re-signing with the Mavs, and Klay Thompson, that's a nice nucleus. If I asked you, though, who wins a championship first, the Mavs or Cooper Flagg's former school, Duke?
Look, John Shire has not let that program fall off at all.
So difficult to win one in college basketball.
It is, but he was close last year.
And what I would say about the NBA, they've done a really good job of creating parity. 7 champions in 7 years. I think the Mavs are going to be really good next year.
Yeah, but, I mean, how quick is Oak City going to fall off in the West, do you think?
They're not.
They're not. I will go, and if your Lakers do get Kessler, I mean, is that a championship game changer?
No. I mean, look, they're going to be much better. I mean, you're going to tell me LeBron's, one day he's got to slow down.
I guess he's got to retire at some point.
I don't know. He's still great. So, if LeBron plays like LeBron plays with Luka, getting a little serious about conditioning this year, and then Austin Reeves with Kessler. I mean,
it's an interesting team. Yeah.
The West is really good.
I think I'll go Duke. Dunaway. I'd take Duke over the Mavs.
I would take the Duke basketball Blue Devils.
Second.
Though it feels like UConn is not going anywhere, and then the SEC is the SEC, but I'll go Duke.
Second down.
Which Florida team wins another national championship next? And I was going to ask it a different way. Like, if you had life dependent upon it, you got the 3 major Florida teams, you're going to go Florida or Miami, then Florida or Miami. Florida State's going to be 3rd, right?
Yeah, right now, probably. I think if my life depended on it, I would take the Florida Gators.
I think I would take the Florida Gators, too.
I don't want my life depending on Mario Cristobal having to win 3 playoff games.
Let me say this. Any of the 3 current coaches, I would be shocked if they won a national championship.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say Florida with their next coach.
Yeah.
Unless it's Lane Kiffin.
I think I'd go the Florida Gators here, Dunaway.
Well, you just have to navigate the SEC.
That's tough.
You could be the 7th, 8th best team in the SEC, and I guess you're still a borderline playoff contender. I'm going to say to win a national championship.
Yeah. It seems to be so common for these 3.
I know.
It's amazing that we're like, I don't know if it's ever going to happen again.
I'd probably go Florida. Florida State, Miami in that order.
I think I would go Florida.
Flip a coin.
Yeah, Miami, Florida State, but I don't feel good about either.
I don't either, but we all went Florida number 1, didn't we? Yeah.
Third down.
Ricky Gervais, 64 years old today. Ultimately, better career. Ricky Gervais or Ricky Henderson?
Only because and I think Gervais is unbelievable funny, but I don't think he's accepted on a wide basis, and he's not out there as much as other comedians are. I'm going to say Ricky Henderson because of what he did and his exposure in a more mainstream setting. Ricky Gervais is hilarious, but he's not as mainstream as everyone else.
This is really tough because Ricky Henderson changed the way they run bases at that level. Ricky Gervais, though, is one of the minds behind The Office.
I was going to ask, was he considered the creator of it?
He's one of the co-creators.
Okay, that was.
But he was very impactful on writing. It wasn't Michael Scott in the UK version, but that character. We'll get to Michael Scott on Fourth Down. Gervais, by far the best Golden Globe host ever.
Yeah.
But Dunaway's right. Like it's I don't want to even say a small audience. I don't know what his audience is.
I don't either.
He offends a lot of people, but I think he's hilarious. I lean Gervais, but it's almost like they're kind of the same guy. Like Ricky Henderson, the incredible Ricky Henderson stories didn't give an F about anybody else. It's kind of like Gervais in the way he does his comedy.
Yeah, the Ricky Henderson stories are almost better than Ricky Henderson himself. What
was Klatt's Ricky Henderson story?
Oh, I can't remember it. It was typical Ricky Henderson, like he's on Klatt's team and doesn't even know who he is. The stories are incredible. I guess I would go Ricky Gervais here. The creation of The Office was such a unique television show, and so many have tried to copy it since then. It just created a whole new genre, so I'd go Gervais.
Fourth down.
George Michael, not Sports Machine. George Michael,
like
of
Sports Machine.
Wham and solo artist fame, would have been 62 years old today. George Michael or Michael Scott, Steve Carell.
Who's had a better career? I'd go Steve Carell, Dunaway.
I would too. It was a short period of time. Got to have faith. Hit at the right time in my life.
You remember him leaned up against that jukebox playing?
But I saw one of the worst movies that I've seen in a long time, Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman.
Oh,
but
I saw that last year.
They played father figure in the movie from George Michael. That, if you went on a first date and went to Baby Girl, like you're never going to see that date again. Like that is one of the most uncomfortable movies of all time when it comes to sexual stuff going on. Yeah. Dunaway's going to run to it tonight.
Steve Carell, though, would be my answer here.
I think I would go George Michael, but Steve Carell is so talented. Close though.
Steve Carell's in a lot of things. I pulled a Dunaway. I was on YouTube, Jim, and I got sucked into a college football wormhole where all those old college football games are on. And it was one of the original BCS games. And I'll see if I can find out which one it was. And it's clear that they were trying to explain to the audience what the BCS was. So the pregame thing, like the setup for it, was two guys at a bar. And they're like, why are these two teams playing? Well, they were picked number 1 and number 2 in the BCS. Yeah, but one's in this conference, one's yeah, I know, but we picked them number 1, number 2. One of the guys at the bar is Steve Carell. Like he's just some bit actor they've got sitting at a bar trying to explain what the BCS is. And I never remembered that, but I just stumbled across it. I wonder if it was
had to be 1998, Tennessee and Florida State.
I was going to say, I think it might have been Tennessee, Florida State. I'll go back and see if I can find it.
Yeah, you wouldn't explain it after year one. That's sort of how Ted Lasso started, right? Was that character was created by NBC to explain European soccer and relegation to the American audience.
Pretty much. I think Steve Carell takes this one. He's severely underrated as a dramatic actor.
I agree. I agree.
A few weeks ago, I went back and watched Beautiful Boy. I had never seen it, and it's Timothy Chalamet and Steve Carell. And Steve Carell gives a fantastic performance, and that was my main takeaway from the movie. Was I didn't know Steve Carell had chops like this.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a wonderful actor. As I told you a couple times now on the show, it takes me a while to forget that he wasn't convicted of sexual assault from his morning show character.
That's bad for him.
He was that good of an actor in that. That is our 4 downs today. Michelson brought you part of that today. Our great friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Still to come on the show, we'll talk to Taylor Tannebaum coming up on the other side. Brownie, if you would, though, tell us about our friends at Breakline Optics, and then I want to highlight a couple of NFL things for you here.
Yeah, I've got these Breakline Optics glasses right here.
We had our friend Brad Jackson heading to Turks and Caicos today.
That's right.
Came by, got some next round gear, but he also stopped by
Deep South Outfitters, right?
Deep South Outfitters, and picked up a pair of the brake line glasses.
That's right. You can touch them and feel them right there at Deep South Outfitters. You can find them online at BrakeLineOptics.com. That is BrakeLineOptics.com. These things are virtually indestructible. These lenses, when I say they are cast-molded, polarized Trivex lenses, that may not mean a lot to you until you watch the people at BrakeLine take a hammer these things and not break them. That's how durable they are. So if you've ever dropped a pair of sunglasses and they break or scratch, and you're like, oh, geez. Yeah, that's what BrakeLine is. They are very fashionable. They look great. They're great for the fisherman, the golfer, the outdoorsman in your life. They have ladies as well. And they're very, very durable, and they stand behind their product. See more, BrakeLineOptics.com. BrakeLineOptics.com. Or if you're in Birmingham and you want to touch them for yourself, go by Deep South Outfitters. It is BrakeLine Optics. Local guys, national company, but a great Alabama company. BrakeLineOptics.com.
Two quick NFL things before we get to Taylor from the ACC Network at the top. One of them, former Alabama and Oklahoma and now Super Bowl winning quarterback Jalen Hurts is now also an author. He has written a children's book called Better Than a Touchdown, Better Than a TD. It's about community, advice, and being together and doing things together. Better Than a Touchdown by Jalen Hurts. It's the genesis of the book is trying out for a football team, but before you could try out, the football team gets shut down, and how they bring the football team back by all working together.
So Tiki Barber did this. Malcolm Mitchell, the old receiver for Georgia and the New England Patriots. It's not like Jalen needs the money. This must be something that is just kind of a passion project he's wanted to do for a while.
Yeah, but it's about handling things that are sort of thrown your way. Jalen says in an interview, things he experienced in his career, like at Alabama.
Somebody get benched on the playground?
Being benched is some of the stuff he used in writing that book to help kids navigate the journey in life. And then Aaron Rodgers, who, as we said yesterday during the show on Pat McAfee, said, I'm pretty sure this is it, talking about this being his final year in the NFL. So Aaron Rodgers' place in the NFL, regardless of what happens this year, is there anything that happens this year that can change his place in the NFL? Or you think there is?
Oh, yeah. If he was to win a championship with Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they positive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That would be obviously a major positive. I mean, look, I think even if he has a terrible, he's still a top 10 quarterback of all time. I'm just talking about the production, the 4 MVPs. He's only got the 1 Super Bowl championship, but they're tough to win. I would have expected more out of Aaron Rodgers, but if he was to go to Pittsburgh and win one, and that crowded-ass AFC with Lamar not having one and Josh Allen not having one, I mean, that would be next level.
It would be next level. Do you think it would also be his last year if he did that? I mean, is that a way where you say, I can write off as a champion, or you're like, well, he's already, man, if I'm good enough to win.
So you're saying he's already said it's his last year, but if he won one.
If you win one, he said he expects it to be his last year, but if you win one, which way do you look at it, Dunaway? Do you say, here's my chance to go out a champion?
I tap out.
Like John Elway.
He walks it away.
So you don't think there's any part of him that's like, man, I was good enough to win a world championship. Let's run it back?
He is one of the more unpredictable players we've ever been around, though.
Yeah. Things he leads the NFL in. Career passer rating, number 1 all time. Most efficient quarterback ever. Touchdown to interception ratio, number 1 all time.
No surprise there.
With a 4.341 ratio in the regular season.
Doesn't throw picks.
He is the lowest career interception percentage all time in the NFL. 1.4% of his passes in the regular season ever. Holds the highest single season passer rating record all time, 2011, with a 122.5 rating there. Postseason touchdown to interception ratio, number 2 all time. He's number 2 all time in postseason touchdown passes. Postseason passing yards, number 4 all time.
Jeez.
I mean, this
you
guy
think
has,
he had 4 Super Bowl championships?
I would say, everybody talks about Dan Marino as the great quarterback that never got a championship. I expected more from Aaron Rodgers, even with one, than Dan Marino getting none. I think he's more underachieved as far as championships.
I kind of agree with you. When Jim reels all that off, you're like, so he won 4 Super Bowl rings? You're like, no.
But you would watch him in the regular season back with Green Bay, and it was like precision. He was surgical. Those teams were incredible. You couldn't get them off the field, but once they got to the postseason, they found, like against Seattle, that onside kick, and they blew a double-digit lead. I mean, just weird games that they lost.
Number 4 all time in postseason passing yards, 4-time NFL MVP, but 1 time Super Bowl champion. He was the MVP in that Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers' place in history is secure. One more run with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We run to Taylor Tannebaum of the ACC Network to talk about the running quarterback with the running mouth at Florida State and a lot more on the show that's being brought to you by our friends at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino. They are the sponsor of our studio, and they're always there for a good time. Birmingham Racecourse Casino right there here in Birmingham. We're back in a moment with Taylor Tannebaum of the ACC Network.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. 3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rowback. Go to rowback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
This hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Always for 981 shows now, they bring you the final hour. Sterling and the crew with the best comfort food you can get right there. If you're having a bad day, I don't care if it's July or if it's December. It's hot, it's brined overnight, it's cooked to order, juicy to the bone. It's our friend at Champy's Chicken. I'll tell you, I used to love, I think it was called ACC PM in the afternoon when Taylor first left Indianapolis. Sorry about your Pacers, Taylor. But now ACC...
It's okay. It was a great run. Great run.
But ACC PM has ended as well. The times change. Times keep changing, man. I'm getting old, man. I was there from the beginning to the end of that show.
I know. And a big congrats to Mark Packer, who, if anyone knows college sports, you probably know the name Mark Packer. Doesn't matter what conference you follow, and he's heading off into the sunset, retiring, and I'm sure he'll do plenty of other things. So yeah, that show, which gave me my start, I guess, at ACC Network, will have a little bit of a different feel to it. I think they're going to switch it up and maybe make it a little shorter, certainly much different, but I'll miss it too, weirdly enough. It was the hardest challenge I've ever had in my career, but it was truly the most rewarding. You know what just brought me back, though, speaking of times changing? That Alexander Shunnarah commercial truly, really hits home as a former Alabama resident.
That's right. You by the way, Taylor appears, you'll love this, on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. You're on the Shunnarah hotline, Taylor.
Hey, so we're talking Miami earlier. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you have a Miami tie?
I am from Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
So I'm born and raised in Plantation, Florida. I used to go to games at Miami. I was never a Hurricane fan, though. Don't get it twisted. But now, obviously, as an unbiased host at ACC Network, I always want the Canes to do well.
Okay.
Who's your favorite NFL team, real quick, Taylor?
The Miami Dolphins. Who's your favorite NFL team?
It's the Miami Dolphins. That's right.
Let's go.
Taylor and I will occasionally exchange frustrated texts on a Sunday afternoon.
Okay, but
I feel there will be more of those in the future.
I'm afraid so, Taylor.
My favorite NFL team's also in Florida. We've won 2 Super Bowls this century.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah, Tampa Bay.
So
I'm super happy for you, Jim.
Thank you.
Speaking of frustrated fan bases, the Miami Hurricanes, we talked about this, and you probably saw this Sports Illustrated article, 6 programs spending $40 million plus. Miami is one of those. They got arguably the greatest portal quarterback last year in Cam Ward as far as production. Now you go out, you get a Carson Beck. He's making, him being Mario Cristobal, $8 million a year, but it can't come together. Like last year, SMU goes undefeated in the ACC. They get to a college football playoff, but Mario Cristobal is finding ways to lose games. Where is he with that fan base, and what is your expectation for the Miami Hurricanes in 2025?
I think the fan base saw what this program should be last year. 10 wins is nothing to turn your nose up at, right? But there was a point at the end of the season where they had every opportunity, not just to make the ACC championship game, but to also make the college football playoff. And to simply put it, they blew it. They blew it against Syracuse. They didn't make the championship game and therefore didn't make the college football playoff when you just noted they had the number 1 overall draft pick in Cam Ward at quarterback. Problem was they didn't have the defense, especially in ACC play and toward the back half of the season, to play at the level that Cam was. Scoring 40 points a game should be plenty in order to win football games. They didn't have it. So I think the fan base knows that right now, 10 wins is 10 wins should be the standard for this program every single year. They should be competing for a college football playoff championship every single year. Your leash is now short, in my opinion. At Miami, if you're Mario Cristobal, he would be the first one to tell you that because he knows the standard of this program. He's an alum and he has a lot of pride for it. Now, going into this season, I feel like there's an expectation certainly set now, and fans aren't going to take anything less than what they saw last season and then a little bit more. This team has had a great portal class coming in. They've beefed up their defense. They've changed their defensive coordinator. They have a great offensive and defensive line, which is where it all starts. My biggest question would be at receiver because they lost their top 6 pass catchers. And then, of course, at quarterback with Carson Beck, you've seen the highs with Carson Beck and you've seen the not so great things about Carson Beck. What he has to remember though going into this year is he's not Cam Ward. Fans need to remember he's not Cam Ward. He needs to be the best Carson Beck that he can be. And I think he's in position in Miami to do that with his offensive coordinator in Shin and Dawson. But certainly the fan base is starting to be rabid. It's year 4 for Mario Cristobal, and this is the year. If they don't break through, there's going to be some questions.
Taylor Tannebaum is with us from the ACC Network. And it's good for the ACC Network. A lot of high-profile SEC, ACC games early in the season. One of them is Alabama, Florida State. And Florida State has a new dual-threat quarterback, Thomas Castellanos, who can run the football and run his mouth. It's great for what we do. If you're the Florida State coaching staff, you think you like this kind of hype going into this game?
I would argue no, considering there are multiple sides to this. I would say no, because first and foremost, Mike Norvell this spring closed practice viewing to media for this reason, that he didn't want outside noise to trickle in, because I do think that was a big part of the problem last year. And look, they still had their normal media sessions afterwards. It's not like Mike Norvell completely cut out the media. He was like, look, I just want to keep things inside and not give these kids who are always on their phones something else to look at from the outside. Respect it. This is something you probably don't want when you're coming off of a season going 2-10, and you kind of do have a lot of question marks as to what they're going to look like. I'm sure the coaching staff had a conversation with Thomas, but in Thomas's defense, this is who he is. Thomas Castellanos is a flashy player, and there have been times in his career where he's shown it on the field. I never want him to change who he is. I don't. I think that's part of what makes him as exciting to watch as he is. I do think it could have been handled a little bit better, but now it's incumbent on him to go out there and back up your talk, right? You sometimes let your actions do the talking. He's already done the talking. Now your actions have to back it up, and hopefully we'll see against Alabama in game 1. Your guess is as good as mine as what Florida State's going to look like. We're going to find out early.
Okay, but a couple of things are true that he said. Florida State's going to be better on paper, at least. They are better. Yeah. Nick Saban's not there anymore. That is true. and if you look at people that have caused Alabama problems last year, it was people that had Thomas Castellanos' skill set, the ability to run the football when things are breaking down. So it wasn't like the things he was saying were total untruths.
No, and you're right, because one of the statements he did also make that I saw made the rounds and maybe upset some of his former Boston College teammates was, I felt like I was the one doing all of the work, paraphrasing it. I ran all over the ACC, and now I actually have dudes that I'm playing with around me to help me and support me. And that is true. The talent level at Florida State is significantly better than at Boston College. Florida State also does now have an offensive coordinator named Gus Malzahn, which Alabama fans know very well as the former head coach at Auburn. And we saw what great things he did with offenses with guys like a Nick Marshall. I think back to that great run with Nick Marshall at quarterback. And Thomas Castellanos has some of those same traits. And we know what Gus can do with those dual threat kind of guys. And he has the keys to the offense. Mike Norvell taking a step back from all of that and is really going to be the head coach. So I think this is a space Thomas can thrive and could pose problems to an Alabama team that I don't care if they have Nick Saban at the helm or not, has a ton of talent. And there are some question marks there too, I would say, going into this season. You don't necessarily know what it's going to look like, but it's going to be a good game. But Thomas, it's no team to turn your nose up at if you're Thomas, but I do like the position he's in heading into this game.
Taylor Tannebaum is with us. She is with the ACC Network and ESPN. She's on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. You may be at the Week 1 game, TCU in North Carolina. Are you guys doing your show from there? Do you know yet?
I'm not sure about that one. That is certainly on the docket. I do believe the Huddle will probably be making a trip to Death Valley.
Okay.
I don't know if that's breaking news or not, but that is probably the biggest game on the docket with LSU and Clemson, which will be great. But that Monday night one will have a lot of eyeballs for sure. And I don't know if it's necessarily about the football aspect of it, but people will be watching.
I know, but I was going to say that storyline has died down a little bit. We have very short attention spans in this country. It has died down. I don't know what your feel is for Bill Belichick in North Carolina. It is going to be fascinating to watch.
I wish I had a better feel. We haven't necessarily had a chance to talk to him, and I know he's done some interviews, but they haven't really allowed the players to talk during spring ball and all of that good stuff, because I think they're really trying to make this transition, and I know they know the media hoopla that surrounds it. I have no clue what to expect from this team because that roster is a complete turnover and the coaching staff is a complete turnover. What we do know is Bill Belichick is a proven winner at the NFL level. He knows what it takes to win. And I certainly think he's implemented all of those things at the college level there in Chapel Hill. Now, what it translates to on the field, I have no idea, but you're going to see competitive football. And if they're not competing, you're going to see the kids not competing on the bench. I think that's how it's going to work. So I think it's going to take some time, but I am just as interested as you to see what it turns out to be. But that's going to be a primetime showdown on Monday for sure.
So Taylor, we asked the hard-hitting questions here on the next round, and this is one that I was going to ask every media member that we had on moving forward, but I think I stopped a couple of weeks ago. But better chance of happening in his tenure in Chapel Hill, Bill Belichick wins an ACC championship, or he has another kid?
Let's ask actually a betting line at Bet Online.
Oh, no, there's a betting line on this?
Which happens first?
No, there's not.
Yeah.
You know this is true love, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like this, if you were to look up true love in a dictionary, like that would be the picture I would assume would pop up. I'm gonna save my money instead of throwing my money down on that. I don't know. I think the latter.
Yeah, I would probably agree, which is crazy.
And the reason I say that is less about Bill Belichick and his girlfriend and more about the fact that North Carolina has yet to accomplish that. And I don't know that I see it in their future right now.
Listen, I don't know.
So I'm going to go with that.
Well, and there's only one way to really get him forever, and that's to have a kid.
Yeah,
God. Why have I never thought about that? Now I have to spend my Wednesday thinking about this. Thank you so much.
You used to listen to the round table back in the day when you were in Huntsville. We talked about this, so you know I like to make it awkward. So as a
she didn't need the show to know that.
As a young female,
wow,
in your head,
already awkward.
Do you have a ceiling age-wise of somebody you would date?
Yes, not above 70, I can tell you.
Yeah, that's my point. We used to talk in college about good looks and crazy. There was a line that you could be crazy, but if you're good looking, I can put up with more crazy. I wonder if girls is there an age bank account line that you go there?
Well, Taylor, put it this way. We were talking to Emily Grace, one of our employees, and we were talking about F1, this new movie coming out with Brad Pitt. And, Brad Pitt at 61, and Emily Grace is, 24?
Yeah.
Is he still attractive? And how did she describe Brad Pitt?
A healthy middle-aged man.
So that was a nice way of saying no.
Yeah. Yes. My wife
I think I would have to side with her on that. I think I draw the line in I'm not a money chaser like that because I can get my own bag if I need to, but it's not a bad thing. But I think I might draw the line at the 50 mark. I don't know. Here's what's funny: the older you get, the more you're I'm about to turn 34. The older you get, you're someone tells you they're 45, 50. You're oh, it's not that old. They're still young.
That's right.
The older you get, the more you say an older age is that's still young. That's a ripe old age of 62.
Yeah. My principal and high school coach seemed so old in high school. And I look back now because I still bump into him. And I look back now.
He's still alive?
Yeah. And I bump into him. And they were old, but they were 30. And I was 18, but they seemed old. And they were only 30. So
and now you're man, they were young.
That's exactly.
Well, since we're asking weird questions, I've never met you in person, but these guys swear that you're very honest. So you will answer this honestly.
I've always said that about Taylor. She is super honest.
As much as the ACC network and ESPN will allow her. Go ahead.
Have you ever been in the pool at the Clevelander?
No, never.
Okay, good.
So kind of what happened for me is I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. The problem is, I went to college. I went to Florida State when I was 18 to 22. And then I got my first job in Dothan before I even graduated. So I never lived back down south. So I never got that, when all my friends went back home after college, I never dove into that. I was working weekends in the trenches covering Auburn and Alabama. I was not in the pool at the Clevelander.
Oh, yeah. That's how you end up getting your own bag, right? You didn't go back to party. You
That's
started
right.
working.
Yeah.
That's right.
Getting that career
did not
going
have the
on.
bag back then, but we're working on it.
Hey, ACC towns. I mean, we love the SEC venues, and we just did the EA Sports toughest places to play, and it's such a great road trip. We know about Miami's home situation. We know the new look stadium in Tallahassee is going to be fantastic. We know what Clemson is. Give me a underrated, because you've been to all of them now. Give me an underrated ACC football town, a football atmosphere that would surprise us on a football Saturday that we've never been to. We know Clemson. We know Florida State. Give me one that would surprise me.
And Clemson and Florida State are the most like the SEC. Like the SEC, it's just different. Like that's they eat, sleep, breathe football, and it's a beautiful thing. Like if you're a college sports fan, I encourage anyone, especially if you're an ACC fan, to go to a road game against an SEC team because it's amazing. This year we obviously acquired SMU in the ACC. So much fun. SMU can, first of all, they can party. They have the bag. The people are so nice, and they really do love their football. Like, obviously, if you know the history of college football, like this was one of the great teams. And then obviously all the stuff happened and the death penalty and all that good stuff. So they kind of were brought back down to earth. But people forget Dallas is a vibe. And they tailgate kind of replicated sort of like the Grove at Ole Miss, and it's really cool. And they're up to sundown, and they have a good time. And that environment is really cool. What they've done stadium renovation wise has been incredible. And I know Rhett Lashley had a big hand in that. So it's like an SEC style locker room, weight room, all that good stuff. They have everything at their disposal, but the environment there gets pretty rowdy, and there's nothing truly like a Saturday night in Blacksburg.
So
at Virginia Tech.
Oh, wow.
We do gun-to-head question, and we did one earlier a couple of weeks ago. Like, if you could only pick one champion from a Power Four, Clemson is the easy answer in the ACC. SEC, Big Ten, Big 12 is impossible. With that said, SMU, to go 8-0 in the regular season, to get to a college football playoff, is there a team out there in the ACC this year that's kind of off the grid, nobody's talking about, that wouldn't surprise you if they won 10 games and were possibly in the mix in a one-game situation to get to a college football playoff?
Yeah, I'll put the Clemsons, Miamis, SMUs off to the side because those are the ones that you would typically default to, and I'll go with the Georgia Tech. If you've been paying attention, they've slowly but surely, under Brent Key's leadership, has started to make some real noise, and they've knocked off several ranked opponents every single year. Brent Key has these guys playing some real football and believing in Georgia Tech and the brand and wanting to be there. That environment, a couple of times we went last year, was pretty loud. They played SMU. They did some really great things last year, and I think that's going to trickle over. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Haynes King. If you don't know them, get to know them. They have an early game against Clemson, and that's going to be a good one. And I think you're really going to inevitably 4 weeks in circle that game, because I think that could be a difference maker in the league. So I'll rock Georgia Tech.
That Friday night game at Colorado, because you don't really know what Colorado has. I mean, Caden Salter, the transfer quarterback from Liberty, is good, but he's not Shedeur Sanders good, probably. I mean, that's another really fascinating game in week one.
It's great, and I think it's a good chance. And this is why, Brent Key and Georgia Tech get it. Like, we got to put our brand out there for people to know. Like, you're going to see Georgia Tech has a lot of returners. So they're a team that has like less questions to be answered. So I think they're going to be that team Friday night that people are watching like, oh, they're on the radar. I think they put themselves on the radar last year, starting the season off with their game in Ireland against Florida State. And I'm not so sure. Everyone expected Florida State to be great, and here comes big bad Georgia Tech, and I think that could be very much the same this year, but they've got to take another step, and I think there's real potential for them to be in the mix down the stretch in November.
Okay, what just came up and spooned you on the couch?
Oh, did he move?
Not even.
Yeah, we saw him a little bit.
Yeah. Not even.
That's my beast.
Oh, yeah.
It's really hot right now, this whole heat wave going on. So you take him outside for 5 minutes. He's a big old 80-pound pit bull. It results in about a 5-hour nap now. So
nice. Yeah.
Same.
I'm the same
good.
way.
I'm jealous. Mine are wild.
The first time Taylor Tannebaum was ever on this platform with us, she texted immediately. She was like, afterwards, she was like, you guys are the only show ever that I've ever been on that a clip of my interview is sent out before my interview is even over with. Y'all have an amazing social media team. And I will tell you, we've continued that tradition. Taylor Korn has already sent out another clip on our social media platform before your interview's ever over with there.
Yeah, she skewed it.
Big fan of Taylor. Big fan.
And she's talking about you, your answer to the Belichick kid or championship.
You'll be happy to know that was not the one. Yes.
It's been retweeted by a lot of people. No, that's not the one.
No.
Hey, look, it was honest. What can you do?
All right, that is Taylor Tannebaum. You can see her on the ACC Network. Follow her on social media at Taylor Tannebaum. Taylor, it is always a pleasure. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you for having me, guys. You're the best.
All right, good to see you. Talk soon. Taylor with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
And the show being brought to you by the great folks at Company Distilling, any ABC store from Huntsville to Mobile. You can find the great Company Distilling folks now.
Yeah, Company Distilling is now available throughout the state of Alabama at ABC stores. Also, states like Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina. Whether you're picking up a bottle for a weekend gathering or just exploring something new, Company Distilling is worth the pour. If you can't find it on the shelf, just ask your local store to order it in. Spirits this good deserve to be shared. And if you're looking for a summer road trip or toasting to, Company Distilling, 3 must-visit distillery destinations. Thompson Station, just outside of Nashville. Historic Lynchburg and Townsend in the heart of the Smoky Mountains. Take a tour, enjoy a flight of award-winning whiskey, sip on a craft cocktail, and soak it all in with the best of company. Plan your visit at companydistilling.com.
Okay, 2 things before we take our next break. One of them, I promise you, I think we've done this 3 times in Las Vegas already. They did it 2 days ago, I guess for the official time, but I thought we stuck shovel into the ground a couple of times in Las Vegas for this new stadium. But the A's earlier this week with a big ceremony breaking ground again on this stadium. We have shovels in the ground, they say, confetti and everything. And they had the ceremony where they broke ground on the stadium.
I'm like you. I thought we had seen this before. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I guess I am.
I've seen an empty lot. Didn't we blow up a stadium? Blow up an old casino to make
time.
Yeah. They blew up the.
I'm just glad they're keeping the colors in the
Tropicana.
The Tropicana. I think
was that what it was?
Yeah, I'm with you, Lance. The fact that they're keeping the color scheme.
It's going to be beautiful, though.
Boy, it's a funky looking stadium.
Man, you think it's hot here? Can you imagine it's a live baseball game in Vegas?
No.
Yeah.
But it's all going to be undercover, but it's going to be open air undercover, right?
It's going to be like SoFi.
You still got to get there.
That's true.
Yeah, it's going to be like SoFi, though, I think.
Yeah,
but the LA Heat and the Vegas Heat.
So
a lot different.
They're halfway through a season in Sacramento, and they're just now breaking ground in Las Vegas.
Yeah, 2028 opening day is
I was about to say, so they're in Sacramento for quite a while longer.
So 3 seasons was the plan when they got there, and they're still on pace. But I will tell you this, and Forrester watches more baseball, I think, than any of us. I don't know if you watched any Sacramento games in Tampa, because my Rays are playing in a minor league stadium as well because of the hurricane. Our atmosphere is tremendous. We're playing better baseball than the A's are, but our atmosphere is tremendous. Have you watched a game at either place?
I have not watched a live game, but I see the highlights. It looks like it's happening there.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is
much more so than the
than the Trop.
Than the Trop,
because there was a lot of empty seats and empty space. It's packed, and it's just a better atmosphere. It's like a great night at the minor league ballpark.
Outside of the Rockies, though, second least wins in Major League Baseball at home. The A's right now.
The A's. Yep. I was just using the example in Tampa in a minor league park. Atmosphere is great. Things are going good. In Sacramento, the team sucks, but also that venue and the fan base. It's in Sacramento. It's not the Sacramento A's. It used to be the Oakland A's. It's just the A's now.
The A's. They're the Athletics.
Tampa actually moved from across the bridge in St. Pete into downtown Tampa, where their fan base can get there quicker.
Third most wins at home, Tampa.
And it's working.
Well, but y'all have not had the rain issues you touched on. Now we're just now getting into summer.
Remember, one of our viewers sent me the first rain delay in Tampa Bay history.
Yeah, but you thought that was going to be a lot more common than it has been so far.
That's why they played so many of their home games now.
Yeah.
We're about to play most of the rest of the season, which is why the Rays will likely not make the playoffs. They're about to spend most of the second half of the season on the road.
Wow.
If Birmingham had a team, how many games would have been rained out?
We would be so far behind right now.
Yeah. I mean, and people listening wherever might think we're joking, but like it's not just a rain shower. It was like days of rain.
Oh, it's the rainiest spring and summer I can remember.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I would think I bet it's historic. It's biblical.
Yeah.
Biblical.
I mean, like last night, right? Like it wasn't even supposed to rain yesterday. Didn't it rain again last night?
Oh, it did. Not at my house.
I think it's pop-up shower or something again last night. All right. And then there's the EA Sports College football game that's coming out. And it's got 300 real coaches in the games, head coaches and coordinators that are in the game, their images and everything. And some people like their image, some people don't. Let's go Matt Rule first. Matt Rule reacting on social media. Matt Rule, you versus this guy, told you not to worry about Nebraska football. Coach Rule laughing about his image there.
A little thick.
Yeah.
Little thick.
Yeah, not his best look.
Yeah, Matt Rule showing that he's in better shape now than that image they drew up right there.
What's he in front of down there?
That's a cow.
That's a big cow or steer.
Is that an old school boom box?
It's an old school Nebraska boom box. LT, good eyes right there. And then there's Lane Kiffin, who's not happy with his
stunning
image at all.
Yeah.
Hottie Toddy writes for him. Jenny Moyer is Hottie Toddy. I'm sorry, but this flabby, dead-eye ghoul is not my hot yoga coach.
Well, I mean, it looks like if John Hamm went on a heroin bender for 2 months.
Yeah. Or midway through the series of Mad Men.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like anything like Lane Kiffin.
No.
300 coaches in the game right now. When we come back, we will talk more college football. I put together my dream SEC team, and I want to see if you guys agree with me or disagree, and where you agree and disagree
This year,
with me.
2025 or all time?
This year, upcoming season. By position rooms. I'll take this team's position room, put them in there, and I'll do my dream team, and we'll do trash coming up on the show, brought to you by our friends at Champy's. Don't forget the unbelievable appetizers they have, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. Mine and Tyler's favorite when we're there. We like the sausage, cheese, and pickle plate. That's a great way to start a meal. Can't imagine on a tailgate having the hand-cut chicken finger in a big pan of the sausage, cheese, and pickle plate. You get all of that in the great Southern fried chicken, brined overnight, cooked to order. It's all right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. It's Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Do you need some fresh college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and Bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
If no matter what I have that is costing something, if I tell you it's going to go up $300 more this year, no matter what it was, if it's going up $300 more, I mean, even if it's your monthly house payment, $300 more is significant. You're increasing
Agreed.
my price $300. You're right.
Agreed.
Yep.
Student athletic auxiliary fees, not just at these schools around the country, but specifically Clemson did it and South Carolina just agreed to did it. They're raising their athletic auxiliary student fees $300 a head.
So this is the money that you charge in tuition that goes to athletics.
That's right.
So a lot of people don't know this exists, but yeah, when you pay tuition to like SEC schools, they carve out a little portion of that from each student and they give it to athletics.
This used to be a big story back in the 90s, early 2000s, because it would gradually go up, and I think a lot of it was going to coaches or to something, facilities or what. But this sort of went away for a while. We weren't talking about it as much, but now it's back because they're using this money to fund the rev sharing.
That's right. And people are like, well, how do you do that? Well, I mean, it's part of your student experience.
That's right.
I mean, there are a lot of kids that pick an Alabama or an Auburn or a Tennessee because of game day Saturdays, right? So, I mean, it brings a lot of kids in. I mean, it was really the whole reason athletics was created. Was college football was created to get some of the rich graduates back to campus so they might donate back to the school. And then they realized, well, you know what? We can make money off this too. And then it took off a life of its own. But $300, that's a lot.
$300
I wonder what it was before.
I don't know, but $300 at Clemson, and now South Carolina is matching that as well. That's South Carolina there, $300. And it's not just those two schools. It's happening all over the country. Student fees are up because of the rev sharing.
But think about what I pay for my daughter for tuition, what you guys paid for your daughters and son for tuition. If it went up $300, you wouldn't hardly notice.
That's exactly right.
I mean, I think
I would have noticed it back with my tuition at Montevallo in the 80s.
When you were paying it out of your pocket.
But it also was a very small number. Also, that has gone up so big now that $300 doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, example, Layton's doing summer classes at UAB, and I had to reach out to my guy to get a check sent. But I asked her the amount, and I have no idea. Like, I don't know how different the amount is from the summer to spring semester to fall semester. I have no idea.
Yeah, but see, like, Anna Kate's a student at South Alabama. I think there's 15,000 students enrolled. If they just went up $300, I wouldn't even know. Like,
how much would that make for South Alabama? Did you do the math?
$4.5 million.
Yeah. That'd be 4.5 just at South Alabama.
15,000 students, $300 is $4.5 million.
So I wonder.
I mean, imagine Alabama now. We're talking, 45,000 students for Alabama?
If they went up $300 more.
Oh.
Now, Alabama and Auburn also charge different amounts for tuition if you're in-state or out-of-state.
That's true.
13.5.
Both schools are about half and half in-state, out-of-state.
Yeah, but you would still pass this off to
Is that
everybody. 13.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, $13.5 million.
So that's what we're going to start seeing is Clemson and South Carolina are just the first of the game that we know of.
No, they were just the latest example because South Carolina approved it yesterday, matching Clemson. It's happening all across college football.
We're just going to pass. We're going to pass the cost down to the parents of the students.
Yeah.
Of this of funding this salary cap basically.
But I don't know how it is at South. But at Alabama and Auburn, I don't think every student gets a ticket to the game.
I think at South they'll give anybody one that'll come.
But at Alabama and Auburn
You're
and
right.
Ole Miss and plus like that, if I'm paying this extra money now,
where's my ticket?
My student better be able to go to any game she or he wants to go to. Better be able to get in the game.
A lottery system for their student tickets. You might get like all of the home games except for one, or you might get a smaller package of just like 4 home games.
Yeah, if you're a senior, I think you get some priority.
Yeah.
If it's your last run there at Auburn.
But think about it, like if your kid, like my kid's starting her 3rd year at South Alabama, if they went up $300, I'm not going to pull her out of South Alabama and send her somewhere else over $300.
Yeah, I mean, if a menu item goes up $3, you might be like, you know what, I'm not coming back here.
But my daughter loves school at South. I'm not going to ruin her life over $300.
That's right. Alexander Shunnarah brings you the show. They'll help your life.
They will. Shunnarah.com. When you find yourself in need of a trial attorney, Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys, you pay nothing unless they win your case. Their elite lawyers have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining core values that Alexander Shunnarah has had throughout his 24 years right here in Birmingham as its leading attorney. Those values are integrity, mastery, passion, and success. Southern Roots, 150 lawyers, 500 dedicated team members right here in Birmingham. Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com.
Before I show you my SEC Dream Team, I'll ask you guys to do this if it's different and give it to Taylor, tomorrow or later this week or something, so we can keep this on record. I'm going to tell you the quarterback was the hardest position for me to do, and it's going to be the one you guys disagree with me the most. Here's what I did. I took the quarterback room, the running back room, the wide receiver room, the offensive line room, the tight end room, defensive line, linebacker, and secondary rooms. So it's not each individual position all-star, not the all-SEC team. You had to take that whole room from a school and build the dream SEC team. So here's my list of the dream SEC team. And I go with Alabama's offensive line, Alabama's defensive line, Alabama's secondary. Texas is on there multiple times. Texas's linebackers, Texas's running back room. I use Auburn's wide receiving room, Georgia's tight end, and then the quarterback room was the toughest, but I went with Garrett Nussmeier as my quarterback for this dream SEC team. So all these rooms, I think Alabama's offensive line's the best. I think Alabama will have the best defensive line in the SEC, and I think they'll have the best secondary in the SEC. So I pull those out of Tuscaloosa. Thoughts?
Well, real quick, I've got to say this because I continue to see it, and I don't disagree with it. But Garrett Nussmeier is everybody's number one. We talk about the hype for Arch Manning, and Nussmeier had a good season last year. But give me like big comebacks, key plays in fourth quarters, game-winning drives from Garrett Nussmeier.
Easier to point out points where he failed, where he made mistakes.
Everyone has got him number one. And again, I think he's really, really good, but I think there's a ton of pressure on Garrett Nussmeier coming from a program that just produced their 2 greatest quarterbacks in history over the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And they've reworked an offensive line that had a couple of NFL draft picks on it.
Oh, yeah.
That they got to fill those holes. And if you got a wholly offensive line, not in a faith way, but in one with WHOLE, then it ends up being a problem for the quarterback.
If you are correct, and let's just say you are for purposes of this discussion, and Alabama,
Texas, and Atlanta.
Alabama does have the best offensive line. Alabama does have the best defensive line, and Alabama does have the best secondary. If you are correct about those three things, they need only serviceable play from Ty Simpson. He doesn't even have to be great if Jim's right about those three things. Because if you're that good at defensive line and secondary, your defense is not going to give up a ton of points.
By the way, I love Alabama's receivers.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Love Alabama's running backs.
You know they've got good receivers. I think they're going to be able to run the ball because of the line. If nothing else, they would only need to be serviceable at quarterback.
Love Alabama's linebackers. I just couldn't make it all the Alabama list here.
Nobody would have been surprised.
Yeah, we would have expected it.
Yeah. I mean, you can make a case other than at quarterback. Alabama's in the mix at the offensive line, wide receiver, running back room, defensive line, I think they are. Linebacker, secondary, I think they are. You can make a case they're in the mix for all of them.
No, you're right. You can. I mean, Georgia just feels like they're tight end you right now.
Yeah. I probably shouldn't even I should have just grouped that in with the wide receivers.
Wide receivers.
But I broke it out there just to get a Georgia logo up there. All right.
Appeal to the Georgia folk.
If you guys are any different than that, I'd love to see what you think, and we'd love to see your list in our chat room, as we always do. We'll check that out a little bit later after the show, so chime in. You got to pull the entire room of a school and fill in the blanks right there for your dream SEC team. Before we get to trash, I'm going to tell you about our buddy Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Man, talk about a guy that works hard. He and his family, they love to take care of your family. And that's where it all starts with us. Greg goes out and takes calls and gives you a free no-cost roof inspection from so many of our viewers and listeners over the years. And we always get feedback instantly. It's not a Yelp review or a Google review. It's hey, they DM us or they jump in the chat room and they say, man, this Greg from Pell City guy is everything you said he was. He came out and he gave me a free no-cost roof inspection, actually fixed a thing or two on my roof and didn't charge me this or only charged me for that, and actually saved me money by telling me I didn't need to replace my roof yet. I could wait 3 or 4 years and save some money for that big cost. That's just the kind of businessman he is, because he's a family guy. He's local, and that's what he's done his whole life, has just been honest and, taking care of his family, and he wants to do that with yours. You can call Greg from Pell City up and get a free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. He and his wife, Andrea, they own the company, locally owned for over 20 years. Full roof replacement, storm damage repairs. He does it all. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And pretty soon we're going to be calling this country.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
I love that jump. We go from seatbelt to communist country. It gets me every time.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up some delicious Bud Light wherever you are. A Chinese hotel has been ordered to end its unusual wake-up call service that involves red pandas climbing onto guest beds after concerns for both safety and animal rights.
I love her at halftime. I don't need her waking me up.
Now, this one hotel has been called on by the local forestry bureau to stop one of its most popular services. Many guests are attracted to the hotel solely for its red panda wake-up service. Now, the service involves bringing one of the hotel's red pandas up to a guest bedroom in the morning, allowing the panda to roam freely around the room and climb onto the bed. Reviews online for the resort show guests checking in just so they can book the experience and get up close to the cute furry animals from the comfort of their hotel room. I'm going to assume, Brown, if you stayed at this hotel, you would tell them, you know what, I am going to need new towels, but I don't need the panda.
That's right. I'll wake myself up. I don't need an animal doing so.
But I guess
I'll change my sheets.
I'm choosing it for the experience, right?
Yeah, I mean,
for the gram.
Whatever experience that is. Yeah, primarily for the gram.
Does it wake me up by licking me or by clawing me?
There's a big difference. Takes a shit on your chest, it says right here.
It's one of the big difference.
I really, really don't know.
That's a long tail. That thing, I didn't think it had that long of a tail.
But they say that the pandas are naturally sensitive animals and are being forced to interact with guests. It could trigger a stress response.
That's usually a biting.
Yeah,
probably. He's got teeth. See one hanging out there on the tongue.
Yeah, I mean, it could pierce the skin.
He looks a little aggressive on the left. He looks sweet on the right and aggressive on the left.
That'd be my luck. I'd get one of the red pandas that was not a morning person. Just like me. I'd woke up, I'd drop the F-bomb, then it would bite me, and we'd get off to a bad start.
Firefighters had to rescue a man who got stuck in a chimney of a Connecticut Parks building while trying to retrieve his dog from a bathroom when the doors automatically locked for the night.
That's a well-trained dog. He just did the bathroom in the bathroom facility.
Now, police were called Sunday morning to Rockwell Park in Bristol for a burglary complaint. We're told by park employees that someone was in the chimney. Firefighters responded to the scene, got the man out after having to remove parts of the chimney and building, causing $5,000 to $10,000 worth of damage. Now, the Bristol man, who was not injured, was arrested and charged with burglary, trespassing, and criminal mischief. A man got stuck near the flue of the chimney of the pavilion.
Gets you every time.
Locks on the doors to the bathroom are on new timers and automatically lock at 10 p.m. every night. It's not clear how long the dog was stuck in the bathroom or how long the man was in the chimney. Doors can be opened from the inside after they're locked for the night. The dog was unharmed.
This story happens more often than it should. I am always shocked at people that think a human can fit through a chimney. Like, they don't realize that the big stone part, that's just for looks. There's just a little pipe in there, guys. You're not fitting down through the chimney.
You gonna tell me Santa can't come down that chimney?
Dude, I hate to ruin it for everybody.
Well, I mean, obviously you make it down till you get to the, it's flume, right?
Flu.
Flu, okay.
Like the sickness.
Yeah. It's the one that you open it up to let the smoke go out. And you close it to keep the cold air and animals from coming in.
Very small hole if you look up there at that gym.
And that's where you're going to get caught.
That's right, every single time. Unless you're Santa, he's magic.
A man covered in mud, completely nude, was arrested Saturday afternoon after allegedly vandalizing a work van and trespassing on private property.
Yeah, we were getting ready, and Alabama came out at Hard Rock Stadium, and they were...
think that's Manti?
Little Manti Te'o.
Deputies responded to a suspicious incident around 5 p.m. The victim, Jared Garver, told the deputies that he arrived at the property to find the windows of his company van shattered and the doors on the driver's side ajar. Now, while inspecting the damage, witnessed a naked man emerge from a nearby barn, alerted deputies. Suspect, identified as 31-year-old Said Khan, was detained and read his Miranda rights. According to the sheriff's office, Khan claimed he had been following the son under the instruction from, quote, a higher power, and admitted he might have vandalized the van, though he couldn't fully recall the incident.
Maybe I wouldn't rule it out, but I'm not sure I did.
He also said that he had knocked on the door of the home, wasn't sure why he had removed his clothing, which were later found scattered across the property.
You can't be covered in mud with clothes on. You got to take
That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Deputies found the home's patio door open with water running from the hose. Furniture rearranged. Khan was arrested, charged with burglary of an unoccupied home.
Did we have location for this gentleman? I see a palm tree. I'm guessing
It's
Florida
in
man.
Florida.
Yeah,
Yes,
Florida
this is
man.
Florida man.
Yep, of course it is.
I just love that he breaks into someone's house and it's just like, this couch would go so much better on the other side of the room.
What are they doing? What's the feng shui in here?
Yeah. Why are you blocking the window here? Put it over here.
But that mug shot, if he was like, what was his name again?
Jim said Manti Te'o.
Said Khan.
Shad Khan?
Yeah, Said Khan is his name. But Said Khan, Murfreesboro High School. I mean, would that surprise you?
Criminal justice major.
So New Zealand's got a interesting advertising campaign going on. To fix our national pride, quote, the solution is obvious, herpes. Now, that was the pitch made by the charity New Zealand Herpes Foundation last October when it launched a campaign to make the country, quote, the best place to have the infection. Now, the campaign has been a roaring success, winning a top prize this year's Cannes Lions Awards, which recognize excellence in the creative industry.
So the graphic, if you're listening, says, make New Zealand the best place in the world to have herpes.
Now, the campaign, which aimed to destigmatize herpes via a faux tourism advertisement video, was awarded the Grand Prix for Good, a category that seeks to highlight work by nonprofit organizations and charities. Video starred Sir Graham Henry, former head coach of the National Rugby Union team. In it, he touted the past successes of New Zealand and talked about diminishing sources of national pride, such as a, quote, embarrassingly low sheep-to-human ratio and pies that are pushing $7.
Embarrassingly low.
It went on to say, we need to be new. We need something new to be proud of, something big and brave to put us back on the map. Mr. Henry said he scrawled the word herpes in all caps on a chalkboard. And he said it's time for New Zealand to become the best place in the world to have herpes.
I'm going to say this. There's you used to, on a school bus, if you smelled it, you claimed it. If you passed gas, right?
You dealt it, smelt it.
I'm telling you, if we're sitting in a meeting and somebody says, hey, I've got an idea. Let's make New Zealand the best place in the world to have herpes.
Why so, Ted?
The first thing I'm going to think is that Ted's got a problem.
Ted just told on himself. Ted, where'd you go last weekend?
Scott brings up a good point in the back room. He says, well, where's the current best place in the world to have herpes?
What did New Zealand pass?
Ted thinks it's his house.
It might be that pool at the Clevelander.
I'm going to say that there's no place that's the best place.
Wow.
That's all I got.
You ever wanted to go to New Zealand?
I mean, I probably would rather go to Australia.
I know, isn't it Australia's poor cousin, basically?
But, I mean, I wouldn't mind. The flight is what kills everything.
I know, it is a long flight.
Is that the one that has all the bad snakes and stuff, or it doesn't have any because Australia has them all and they never made it over to the island?
Ireland doesn't have any, right?
Ireland does not have any
Ireland
snakes.
has no snakes.
Yeah.
Now, those are a long way apart, so maybe...
Yeah, it seems like there was something that set New Zealand apart from Australia because Australia's got so many things that can kill you, right?
More herpes in New Zealand.
Yes, it's the herpes capital, Jim.
I don't think New Zealand has anything that can kill you. Am I wrong about that?
We'll check right now.
Did herpes kill you?
No, it's not fatal.
What are you laughing at, Tyler?
I don't know.
According to
don't
Ted.
laugh at it.
According to Ted, it's not
Ted
fatal.
says it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
New Zealand has no native snakes and only one native venomous spider.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
World knowledge from Jim Dunaway today.
Can you die from herpes? What do you think the answer is going to be?
I am going to say that is going to be a negative. But I don't know. I think you can die from syphilis, right?
I don't know.
Effects from long-term syphilis back in the day before we
I
had penicillin.
thought syphilis is what got Al Capone.
Yeah.
I mean, tax evasion and syphilis.
Yeah, you're going to have a pre-existing condition for herpes to get you. Like just herpes by itself, you're okay.
I'm 2 for 2 on world history and medicine here.
You know your herpes.
I got almost all the pies ready to finish this game up. Trivial Pursuit.
Man, that is pretty crazy that the closest country to the country and continent of Australia is New Zealand. And Australia's got all those snakes, and they don't have any.
None, yeah. They got the
that
better
little
end
thing
of the
called
bill.
water in between them two.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Things
But all
gotta
it takes is one dick to bring over some snakes.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. That is our trash today. This show being brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. As you can see it on the big screen behind us here. Just wonderful folks at Adams Beverage. We love working with those folks, and a great time to go and support Folds of Honor. Folds of Honor will be coming up on July 4th, another celebration of our independence and so many men and women who have helped us achieve that for well over 200 years now. You can go support their families and many, many others, first responders as well, through our Folds of Honor campaign with our friends at Adams Beverage and Bud Light. Folds of Honor there to help you out. A couple of things before we get out of here. The Indianapolis Colts quarterback battle may not actually happen. Anthony Richardson will be ready for camp, but he's missed all the other workouts. Everyone in Indianapolis raving about Daniel Jones and what he is doing for the Colts. He had a great year in 2022 when he was with the Giants. 3,200 yards passing, 15 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 708 yards rushing, and 7 more touchdowns, a playoff win that got him a 4-year, $160 million contract that he never lived up to, and that almost was an anchor around his neck. It does feel like a reset for him is the best thing to happen for Daniel Jones. What do you expect for Daniel Jones and the Colts this year?
Shane Steichen I like as a head coach, but now he's got a problem because he's got Anthony Richardson, he's got Daniel Jones. They drafted Riley Leonard. This is a year Indianapolis has got to win, or they're going to be looking at a coaching change. And my fear is you get one of these guys, they have a bad game, you pull the trigger. You go to the other guy.
Yeah.
Then he has a good game, and then has a bad game. Because both of these quarterbacks, their highs are really high, their lows are really low. And, it is a good reset for Daniel Jones, but I wonder how much they're going to be playing Anthony Richardson.
Especially coming out of the New York market. I mean, that's got to be a brutal place to struggle. And it's going to – Indianapolis has to feel like he's not even in the NFL anymore, based on the types of criticisms you would get in New York City. So maybe that is the thing. Maybe just getting away from that negativity and that criticism that you were getting every day on WFAN and all over the place. Maybe that is what Daniel Jones needs. Again, you mentioned that 1 year. I just remember sitting there watching him in that game in Minnesota thinking, boy, they have unlocked Daniel Jones. This guy, he has turned the corner, about to take the next step. He was so good in that one game. Yeah. And I guess that 1 year as a whole.
And that franchise seems to have
Indianapolis,
some talent there, waiting for good quarterback play maybe they're in a division they could win.
To Brown's point, 24 of 35 in that 31-24 road win.
I know.
301 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
In the playoffs on the road.
17 carries, 78 rushing yards.
He was money in that game, but you could never get that Daniel Jones again. And someone just pointed the contract. I don't know that it was the contract.
Yeah. We'll see if the Colts can be relevant again in that division and live up to the old horseshoe. NBA draft tonight, 7 o'clock, ABC, ESPN. Part of the NBC NBA coverage will be Grant Hill. He's signed on. They're putting together a pretty good broadcast studio crew and, of course, their broadcast team. Grant Hill, who I love as an analyst, is going to be part of their NBC NBA coverage. He will continue, though, to do the NCAA tournament.
Good. I think he does a good job.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah. TNT was the bar, but ESPN's was so bad this year.
The NBA coverage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did Jordan – is he doing a limited amount of studio appearances?
He is. Michael Jordan is part of the studio. It's not going to be every week.
It's not full season, but he's doing some limited appearances.
Need a little money?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's what's crazy about that. Jordan supposedly has all this money.
I don't think he can run out, though, with his Nike deal.
I don't either.
Apparently, it's him wanting no longer an owner.
Right.
He has no ownership anymore of its franchise. He wants to stay involved in the NBA and be close to it. He's going to do enough dates, I was told, that he is that he can stay around the game, stay
just
relevant
have his face out there.
in the NBA.
Yeah, I would be. I'm like Lance. I don't know that he can run out of money or relevance. Just living his life. It's one of the most famous players of all time in any sport.
He's not going to do the workload that our buddy Barkley does.
No, it won't be every night.
Yeah, and I bet it's not even in studio.
Oh, you think it'll be on via satellite?
I bet.
Or Zoom or whatever? Yeah.
I bet.
Interesting.
We'll see. We'll see when it gets there. All right, that's our show today. Don't forget 2 o'clock, the Meltdown today. They're already talking, as they did earlier in the viewing menu, about a big event they got happening tonight. They'll tell you more about it coming up at 2 o'clock on the Meltdown. That is live. And, of course, New Pennant Grace tomorrow at 12:15. All of our social media coverage. Go like and subscribe, including if you're watching us on YouTube right now. That helps us. And, of course, if you miss any part of the show, you can catch it audio-wise at Apple and Spotify. Set the automatic downloads for those podcasts. They help us out tremendously. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.